right turn, and it's sort of, I didn't see the video, but it looked like he was trying to show a human side of him, and he told the story about one of his friends that were raped, and he just had this absolute positive hatred for black men. And he was just holding it in for years, and he couldn't find a way to get rid of this hatred. And he was just talking about this, and it's just like,
his friend had it, or
so what happened was in the story, one of his good friends was a girl, I think. I mean,
they didn't say, but I'm gonna assume
was raped by a black man. And so when he found out, he was furious, and he just literally drove around looking for a black guy.
Liam Neeson did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
But this wasn't just once; it was constantly. He was just holding this back.
Irish, you know how they are.
And then he said he finally got rid of this rage. He talked to a priest, and the priest convinced him to start power walking, and he got rid of his rage power walking.
Really?
And they, of course, that was just the highlight of the day at the DVE, because they had a whole skit about how to get rid of anything via power walking.
Right.
Your hatred of Chinese. But yeah, it was just.
Are you sharing us yet, Jay?
I shared.
But as far as Liam,
someone text Rick Words
coming out with that, it's everybody's sort of been talking about it, but then it's just like, it's Liam Neeson. He's the guy that hates people with real guns, but every one of his movies he shoots 200 people.
Yeah, and he's got a bodyguard around him.
Yeah,
to the fucking teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Learn German with hair and trim. It's got to be good.
You send you guys a dick pic.
Oh, I got some pixel.
Yep, it's all one pixel. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. You want to text
Kevin.
Rick Words?
Yeah.
Jay,
Sharon.
You act offended right now.
Oh, man.
Okay, good.
Why?
Because Kevin said evening, gents, and Jay.
Wow.
Lovely. Thanks, Kev. Dick. Love you.
Gay?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I made a tweet about it and then totally forgot to put the fucking link in the tweet.
Hey, check us out
You
on
the
live.
man.
Find it yourself.
Well, I got to get the name of this again. I wonder if I'd borrow this
Okay, that's a
and
hunter.
take it to a leather worker if they could reproduce something similar.
They could. It's called but just if you want to just look up for it, the brand name is Hunter.
Hey, today is our Twitter anniversary. Celebrate with a special tweet created just for you.
You better mention that in the notes.
Notes? Did you get show notes?
I think I did.
I
actually.
texted show notes, bitches.
All I got is this picture of a dick.
Yeah, that's a big old dick.
That's my dick. That's my big old dick.
I hope we have a bunch of live stream people and they're like, why are they talking about dicks?
And what's the model, do you know?
You haven't heard nothing yet. We're going to talk about circumcision here shortly.
Texas Al's gonna be like, you're talking about dicks again.
I see guns and whiskey.
Guns and dicks.
Wait, here. There, we have knives too. Of course.
I'm trying
They're official Wednesday night whiskey.
Are we pulling out the knives too? I got that knife and another knife over there.
Oh, that's a pretty one.
I got
Look at that
a
one.
Star Wars Battle of Hoth pin.
That's awesome.
So
I'm trying to regrow my foreskin.
Look,
When'd you get that one?
I've had that
Really?
one for years.
I'm
I don't
willing.
remember seeing this one.
I bought
I'm willing
that
to
was
make
one
that
of the first knives I
It's a
bought
nice
myself.
Game of Thrones beer.
What?
Oh, it's an Omegon. Bad.
Yeah.
Omeron.
When I think I bought this when I first started at the Emporium.
It's Omegon.
So 2005 I've had it. Yeah, check it out. I don't think it came out too bad.
Would you made that?
Oh,
yourself?
you got
No,
he made it.
You made that knife.
I'll eat today.
What?
Yeah.
He ate wood and steel and shat this out.
I'm actually
A little
impressed
bit.
with myself.
He had tin cup
A
tenure,
little bit of brass.
a little bit of oak.
I'm
and then-
impressed that I did that. Is that you think that's a
No,
YouTube
I-
thing or an us thing, Kev?
What are we doing?
I don't know.
It says about lag issues.
It's probably whatever caused it. not to-
Lagavulin issues. Yeah, we're not
not
drinking
to sync-
Lagavulin.
Not
That's
to
the
sync
issue.
up the first time either. Slow Wi-Fi maybe.
Are we synced?
Slow Wi-Fi.
Are we in sync?
Shannon, she's got to be the other person in here.
What's that drippy noise?
The window's open. And The snow's melting.
Is that what it is?
What? Snow melts?
You
You
said we're
shut the
doing.
window?
No, you said you were doing this bottle at 30.
Yes,
You
sir.
Okay. I'll type the rest, or Mike, you can type the rest of that
Type
out.
it
later.
out, dude.
Type it up and send it to print.
All right, let's do.
Is it time to drink whiskey?
We got
Yep.
Michael.
Let's do the microphone checks.
Michael.
See, maybe we should save going live until after we do all this business.
Nah.
This is part
You think this is the-
like?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're microphone checking.
Oh.
Right now, so go ahead.
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Microphone check. 1, 2, 3.
Microphone check.
Microphone check. 1, 2. Why is it facing me? It's got to face your handsome face.
Oh,
Do your
here.
check again.
Microphone check 2B.
Microphone check 2A 3.
No.
3.
2B. T3s.
T3s?
T3s is a
Scratch
scratch
off.
off.
Maybe we should save going live until after we do all this business.
Yeah.
This is part. You think this is like?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we're microphone checking.
Am I in the
This is
picture?
a microphone test.
No.
This is the important one right here.
Microphone check. 1, 2, 3.
That sounds bad.
Microphone check.
Al still sounds bad. Maybe it's just Al.
I'm going to put money on that.
Microphone check.
Okay, what's the pattern in the back, man?
Microphone check 2A.
That's the polarity pattern.
I know that, but like, what should it be on?
I would think it needs to be on the two circles that face out. They're opposite, like 180 degrees.
That's when I put it to.
What do we got?
Pull the gain down on that too.
Down.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's at
let's-
about I don't know,
Hold on,
8
hold on.
o'clock.
I'm gonna do a strip teaser. Let's try. Well, that's where I think it should be, but we're gonna try this because sometimes I'm wrong.
And you don't have to lean in with that thing.
Okay.
Yeah, lean back. In fact, like get like out here.
Ricola! Ricola!
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Microphone check. 2, 3, 4.
Haggis.
We're fine. You and I are fine.
All right, haggis.
You just wanted to say haggis.
Haggis.
Do you like kettle on haggis?
Oh,
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Microphone check 2, 3.
Maybe I was just on it too hard.
Haggis.
We're fine. You and I are fine.
I think changing that around.
Bring that
I
gain
pulled their
just up a touch.
gain down on here too. So let's adjust that. Why don't you guys talk so I can see if our levels match on here?
Everybody talk at once.
La la
I didn't
talking,
say yell, I
talking,
just said talk.
talking.
That's not
Oh,
This
that's
is
not
us
talking.
talking
We're
about
supposed
the
to- we're supposed to talk,
things.
Jay.
We're
Yeah,
talking.
I-
talking voices.
I like
Traffic lights.
What?
what?
But
No,
only when they're green.
It's only 72,000 miles, Lucas.
72,000 fucking miles, Lucas.
It's nighttime. We're in a cop car.
We have
Half
we have
bag of
T3s
cigarettes.
and a scratch.
Her name was Shelby.
Their name was Shelby.
Oh, that was Lola. Oh.
But only when they're green.
It's only 72,000 miles, Lucas.
72,000 fucking miles.
It's nighttime. We're in a cop car.
That sounds good.
We have T3s and a
Put
scratch.
it back to the original pattern once. 'Cause it sounds good for Al there, but it doesn't sound good for you, Jay.
Okay.
We'll just let you guys check yourself before you record.
Check yourself.
Go ahead.
Test.
This
One,
is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
check. 2, 3, 4.
Test.
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
check 2, 3, 4.
Still a little weird phase on Al,
He might have been a little close to it.
but that was okay.
I didn't move.
Let's now I do want to do all of us because just to make sure the levels are even throughout. Okay, Jay, start us off. We'll go around the horn.
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Microphone check. 2, 3.
Going around the horn.
Horn in my dog. So,
Whoa.
Is that Texas hot dog horn?
I almost wore my
Texas
hot
horn
dog shirt.
dogs.
It would have been cool.
Okay, Jay, start us off. We'll go around the horn.
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Microphone check 2, 3. Going around the horn.
Horn in
Gotcha.
my dog. We sound like
We're a little off
Is
now,
that
dude.
Texas hot dog horn?
Gain us up a little bit. They've got the Yeti, which is powerful. You've got the power of Yeti.
And thick. It's thick and powerful.
Thick Yeti.
All right, one more time, James.
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Thick, powerful Yeti.
Yeti bomb.
Hi. Me.
Yeti balls.
Cherry bomb.
I thought you were
No.
doing
Yeah,
Friday
we're
the
done,
13th.
James.
16th.
This is a microphone test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Thick, powerful Yeti.
Yeti bomb. Hi.
We're good now.
I think you would need to slide maybe a little more back this way, just because I think you're getting picked up in both mics.
Both mics.
Yeah.
Both mics.
Both
But there we only
mics.
have one
Both
mic.
mics.
I'm the only mic.
There's only-
You should
yeah.
be the only mic here.
Yeah. All right, I think that's good enough to call it.
I don't know.
All right.
I think we need one more because we've moved.
All right,
Let's do
fine.
it. Let's fucking do it, bitches.
Fucking do it, bitches. What up?
Test, Voss, water.
Cherry bomb.
Yeah, it's still me.
Can't firewood.
Fucking do it, bitches. Fucking do it, bitches. What up?
Test, Voss, water.
Cherry bomb.
Yeah, it's still me.
That's good.
Sounds good.
Let's go. Hey, everybody. What's going on?
All right, James, you ready to rock and roll?
Bitches, T3s, and scratch
You did that in Matt's voice. You totally did that.
That's the call and response, dude.
You
Hit the button.
totally did it in Matt's voice.
That's as soon as I heard it.
T3 scratch off.
Amen. Father, we have gathered here today to partake in.
What the fuck? Okay.
Ready?
Woo!
Let's do this.
Ready, and going live in 3, 2.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jay from the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee here with another fantastic episode. This week, before we get started, let's present the committee. As most of you are accustomed, we have the same four loving,
Loving.
Touching.
McLovin,
Loving
Squeezing.
Loving.
loving, squeezing,
Touching.
touching me, touching Michael J. Covino, co-host, co-founder, the sexiest man alive, Captain Tight Pants himself. What's up?
Hi, everybody. It's still me, and it's still good to be here, and still good to be me.
Yeah. How can you top that one? Across the table from me, he likes vitamins. He's the man of the hour. He has the thick Yeti,
In front of me.
and we're not going to. We've already earned the E, haven't we?
I think so.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
You said thick Yeti. It's over. It's pixelated.
The Reverend Alsgard.
Hello, people, and all those at home. Please think about what you would do with a scratch off and some T3s. Yes.
Oh, I know what I'd do with the scratch off. And T3.
He's actually left the podcast right now to go buy a pair of hooker boots. The bearded one,
Fur line.
the fur-lined red warlock. That's crushed red warlock.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, totally.
the Professor, John J. Feathers,
Hello, good evening, and welcome.
and wow, we're already off to one.
We're off to a start.
Yeah, we're off to one rip snort
We're
start.
already off to a
If
start.
you haven't been watching live on the feed on the YouTube channel, you missed the whole previous section. That you should probably go check that out.
Yeah.
But before we get
Wait, who are you?
Wait, who are
Oh.
you?
what do you mean?
Who let him in?
I'm the one and only Empanada Jones.
There you go.
Motherfuckers. Okay. Let's present arms this week, as always. Well, not as always, but from time to time, occasionally. Here tonight, the Smith & Wesson M&P Performance Center Shield, chambered 9mm, and as you can see, it is empty and it is clear.
It's a performance set.
It is. It's
nice.
vented. Did you see the
It
vent?
is vented.
It's
is
venti
Venti.
It's like
Oh, like
it's
Italian.
like a
It's vented for your
Ah.
pleasure.
and hers.
Yes.
I'm presenting the Dan Wesson 44.
Can we just rename that gun to the Spin 9000?
Spin
Did you see that
9000,
spin? Did you
yeah.
miss it? Because I don't know if you were watching.
Well,
Ooh. It just got cooler in the room. Ooh.
Jay likes it.
I do like it a lot.
Oh, who doesn't like it?
I am presenting the Browning High Power Mark III Classic.
Mm.
It's just fuck. What do you say?
It's in the name. It's classic.
It's
It is. John Brown himself made it. It's a classic.
That's right.
And as I have had for the past several months, the Springfield XDS.
That's easy for you
How
to
many
say.
S's and X's are in the
Chambered in-
name?
Chambered in 45 ACP, and as you can see,
It is clear,
it
clean,
is in clear, and
clean as a whistle.
just like the Yeti, the ammo it takes
Thick.
thick.
Like a thumb.
Thick.
Thick.
Oh, I just put my notes away. That's awesome. Before we move on, because
We've got
this
a bunch of shit.
not a bunch of shit, but this is kind of interesting. I'm half excited, half afraid to get to the whiskey for this evening, because
This whiskey is 2% non-European.
I don't know.
I get
wait,
with that,
that's something
yeah.
else, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Me. That's me. You're thinking.
That's-
You-
right.
I'm sorry. That's me. You're thinking.
Get some cowboy yeet. Just a quick update from the previous notes from the week before. The 2019 Frontier Girls Troop 213 Beat the Winter Blues event was absolutely fantastic. It was a sellout crowd. It's the largest that they've had since they've started doing this. I think this is like the 4th or 5th year.
I think we can really only blame ourselves for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were involved, so naturally it sells out.
Right.
Right.
So, and I did ask around. I said, I didn't actually get a chance to go look at it. I wanted to, but I didn't get to see how many tickets were actually in the basket before the
Right.
number was pulled. But I did message a few of the people in charge, and they said it was really, really full, and that the person who won, I know that it was a woman. That's all I know.
Okay.
You don't know a name or
No,
anything?
but she was really, really excited to win. So hopefully inside there was a postcard that I put, I said, hey, congratulations, you've won our awesome basket. What this also gives you is the opportunity to come be on our show. So please, here's my phone number. Text me, call me.
That's a bad way to pick up women, Jay.
Yeah.
It worked, though.
Scratch offs.
You're only
I heard
pick up
scratch-offs
basket
are-
cases.
Is that what we should do next time? Just forget the whiskey and just put D3s and scratch offs. That's the name of the episode. D3s and scratch offs. Calling it right now.
Yeah. That's from my homeboy Jimmy Iannuzzi.
Yeah, so it was a good turnout. The crowd was amazing. All the baskets went. Like I said, they raised a bunch of money for the event, and it was just nothing but fantastic.
Do you think Shelby won the basket?
It's possible.
It is.
We have unofficially, but officially, on our Facebook page, been invited back to the Moonshine Mine Distillery.
Saw that. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I
and we
didn't
are
see that. That's
absolutely
awesome.
going to go.
Yeah.
I didn't
Um,
see that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we need another afternoon jaunt up to the old Moonshine
Looks
Mine.
like
The
Al's
whiskey
cooking.
She was
Oh,
supposed
yeah.
to check out.
We can do it.
It's another version.
No,
of
I
the
mean
rye.
we need it for recovery time.
I'll pull up the
Yeah, if you look at the post while I ramble on here. So look forward to that. We will be returning to the Moonshine Mine here eventually. That's always a good time up there with the Cochos.
She said they've got a straight Pennsylvania bourbon 800 or 80.
800.
80,
9,000!
120 proof and a 120 rye that we need to check out.
Bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
120 rye.
Hello.
Yeah, the
Hi,
Pennsylvania bourbon's 2 years aged, so I'm excited for that one.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
I did get a real quick here. I got a message when I was sending out some tweets just a few minutes ago that it's officially our Twitter anniversary. So if you follow us on Twitter,
Anniversary.
it's our Twitversary.
Twitterversary.
If you like to check out our Twit box, please do so.
Is it?
It's
pix-
pixelated.
It's pixelated.
That twit box is definitely pixelated.
And just some quick numbers for those of you at home. Over the last month, we had over 1,000 watched minutes on our YouTube page. That's a whole 17.3 hours. We've had a few new subscribers, about 115 views. So it's been pretty active, and we thank the Whisketeers who tirelessly join us all the time and hit our page and share the links and enjoy what we do to keep watching our sorry asses every week. So thank you immensely. Other than that,
And if you enjoy what we do,
and
Right,
if you enjoy what we do, Mr. Segway, We have social media pages. Could you stop that? My penis can only get so erect.
Yeah, let's squeeze those hands a little closer together.
It was this big.
I think we just earned
This-
me.
Yeah, whatever. We have social medias if you're interested in. I mean, obviously, you know that because you're here, right? You know you're here. We have the Facebook. We have the Instagram. We have the Twitter. We have a Reddit page. We have the old-fashioned, good old electronic mail, the email. That's WednesdayNightWhiskey@gmail.com. Also, if you're into some fresh-ass swag, I'm not talking your everyday run-of-the-mill, boring-ass, busted, you just stole some T3s and scratch-offs from your local convenience store.
T800s?
T3s.
T3s. That's a Patreon story.
Yeah, that's a Patreon story.
Text it to him.
Not only so, if you're into some fresh ass swag, like I said, head over to redbubble.com. And basically what that is it's a
It's a
site,
swag store.
it's a swag store. You can go get some Wednesday Night Whiskey swag. Go into the search bar /people/Wed Night Whiskey. You will find our little shop there. We've got t-shirts, we've got wall clocks, strawstring bags, phone cases, you name it, we probably have it. Mikey's currently working on some new stuff, so
Currently, I'm looking up what a T3 is.
So yeah, you can check us out. Like I said, if you want to buy some merch, buy some merch. That definitely goes towards the costs and the fees. It helps us out a lot. Plus, you get to wear some awesome gear. And if you feel like giving us just a little more than that, which we greatly appreciate, head over to Patreon.com.
We got a lot of stories waiting.
There
to be
are
told.
hundreds of Patreon exclusive stories for the first person who's wants to give up that big dollar amount.
And I just want to say that tonight and tonight only. Well, tomorrow when you're listening.
No, it'll be tonight.
Okay, we will.
Red-eyed, but it'll be tonight.
Tonight is the only night possible that you will be able to contribute T3s and scratch-offs to our Patreon account, and we will accept them.
That's true.
Yep.
So you better figure out how to get them here quick.
That's right.
But we are accepting T3s and scratch-offs.
And I just learned that T3s are not hunting John Connor like I originally thought.
Get to the comment. So yeah, and if you're interested in how to find that Patreon site, what you do is you go on your mobile phone, your computer, your home PC, your laptop, whatever you've got, break into your neighbor's house, log into their account, and you go to the keyboard and you type in ever so skillfully www.patreon.com, and you can find us if you hit / Wednesday Night Whiskey. That's who we are. And basically what happens is you give us a donation. It's a reoccurring donation that happens every time we post a show, and your contribution goes to the efforts that we do here to try to bring you what we always hope is, quality content.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes humor. Sometimes we talk about circumcisions.
Sometimes they have
You never know what we're going to talk about.
Right.
That's the glory of live and
Unedited.
impromptu discussion.
Right.
And I feel like I should maybe someday explain that we call this a discussion show, not necessarily a topic show, because we want it to be organic. We want things to happen unexpectedly, like the dogs barking. Did you hear that? You could have.
Probably
If you were
not, but maybe.
Maybe.
If you did, hopefully.
If
you
you're
enjoyed
listening
it.
at home, the dogs are barking.
So anyway, you can hit us up on Patreon. We also have a coffee site that is ko-fi.com. Send us a cup of coffee. It's the equivalent of about $4. And we also have a direct PayPal, which if you are interested in, please send us a message, and we will give you the information to do so with.
And something that's happened in the past that you may be interested in is if there's a whiskey that you enjoy and you'd like us to try, rather than sign up for the Patreon, you can shoot us a message, shoot us a PayPal,
Right.
say, hey, here's $25, $30.
Yep.
I really enjoy this whiskey. Go pick up a
Right.
bottle.
We
do it on
really
the show.
want you to try Lagavulin 16.
And if you're really into
Yeah,
trying
if you love the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee, gift us a bottle of Lagavulin 16. We won't regret it.
no.
At all. I think that is all that I have for the evening. Should we? Are we gonna mention what the possible next episode is yet? Should we do that?
Let's wait until we find out when we can.
We're gonna
get it
wait.
rolling.
Okay. We
I
got
see what
something.
you mean, but
Yeah, we got something pretty
I
big
see
up
what
our
you
sleeves.
mean.
We seen it.
We seen it.
keep an eye out on our Facebook just in case. We will post something about it if we can track it down, but
Right.
without being too forward about what's happening.
Right, because if any Whisketeers out there wanted to perhaps partake of our event whenever we
get there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a pretty cool thing,
So,
actually.
Let's get down to
Brass tacks.
brass tacks and some whiskey barrels here and discuss the highly recommended.
Highly recommended. Highly recommended.
Even Rick Wirtz touted this baby
And Rick Wirtz
all day.
Rick Wirtz has good taste in whiskey.
He does, just not Strats.
Dude,
No, it's gotta
what
be
are you
black with
talking
a
about?
white
Black with a
pickguard.
white pickguard.
Not you too.
What are you talking about?
That's the only kind of strat there is.
I'm done. Yeah, I am Jay.
I am out.
Dude, I've been listening to Strats with white pickguards this week.
Jason,
I got a
take
history.
take
for
us
you.
away.
Right. The whiskey of choice this evening is, some people are going to say, what the hell are you doing, Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee?
It's coming.
I'm even saying that myself a little bit. However, the whiskey of choice this evening is Jim Beam Double Oak Twice Barreled.
Kevin's loving the thick Yeti. He said
Thick Yeti.
The show just went downhill real quick.
Right. Now listen. I know it's not really. This is not our wheelhouse. So to
It is
speak.
definitely not our wheelhouse.
But this stuff has come super recommended, specifically a lot because of the price point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give us a little bit of history just on the Jim Beam Distillery in general. Hey, take pictures of him.
I am going to, but I want to put this camera.
Yeah, I don't want to hear the end of it again.
Yeah.
I know. All right. Jim Beam whiskey owes its origins to the Boehm family, who emigrated from Germany and settled in Kentucky in the 18th century. They eventually changed the spelling of their surname, B-O umlaut, H-M, to Beam, B-E-A-M. Johannes Reginald Beam, 1760 to 1834, was a farmer who produced corn recipe whiskey in the style that eventually did come to be known as bourbon. His son, Jacob Beam, sold his first barrels of corn whiskey around 1795. So this distillery and the tradition, it's pretty old. I mean, it's been around a long time. The whiskey was first called Old Jake Beam Sour Mash, and the distillery itself was known as Old Tub. Yeah,
I'm changing my name.
Old Tub.
Old Tub.
We got Old Tub.
Put your hands right
I'm
here.
Old Tub. David Beam, 1802 to 1854, took on his father's responsibilities in 1820 at the age of 18 and expanded distribution of the family's bourbon during a period of industrial revolution. In 1854, David M. Beam, 1833 to 1913, moved the distillery to Nelson County to capitalize on the growing network of railroad lines. James Beauregard Beam managed the family business before and after Prohibition, rebuilding the distillery in 1933 in Claremont, Kentucky. The James B. Distilling Company was founded in 1935 by Harry L. Homel, Oliver Jacobson, Harry Bloom, and Jeremiah Beam. From this point forward, the bourbon would be called Jim Beam Bourbon after James Beauregard. I just like saying that.
Beauregard
Beam. It was during this time that some
Beauregard.
Beauregard. It was during
Jim.
it was during this time, and I remember this from my youth. It was during this time that some of the bottle labels began bearing the statement, "None genuine without my signature," with the signature of James B. Beam on it. In 1945, the company was purchased by Harry Bloom, a Chicago spirits merchant. The Beam Company was purchased by American Brands in 1968. It is notable that Jim Beam's daughter Margaret married into the No family. That's N-O-E. And a new name was brought into the Beam family tree. Excuse me.
You know what would help with that?
What's that? A little whiskey?
A Voss water endorsement.
Oh, by the way, a Voss water endorsement would definitely help my itchy,
Parched
scratchy,
throat.
parched throat.
That's awesome, baby.
need is a song. We'll just send them the song and say, "Now are you going to sponsor?"
Yeah,
it?"
now, please.
Instead, we're gonna get a cease and desist. Stop using our water.
Stop
You
using
guys
it.
are talking about T3s in your water.
Hey, you perfect for washing down a T3.
No, I have to have.
Anyways, Margaret Beam's son, Booker No II,
Oh.
who became known as the Innovator, revitalized the declining bourbon category with his legendary small batch bourbon collection, the first in 1987 with his own namesake bourbon, Booker's, the company's first uncut straight from the barrel bourbon. See how I threw that in there?
Ah.
The Beam family is currently in its 7th generation of distillers/operators under the guidance of Fred No. The Beam family has also played a major role in the history of the Heaven Hill Distillery. All of the master distillers at Heaven Hill since its founding have been members of the Beam family. The original master distiller at Heaven Hill was Joseph L. Beam, Jim Beam's first cousin. In 1987, Jim Beam purchased National Brands, acquiring the brands of Old Crow.
Mm?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Bourbon Deluxe. That just
Oh.
sounds Bourbon
Deluxe.
Bourbon Deluxe. Old Taylor. Old Granddad.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and Sunnybrook. Old Taylor was subsequently sold to the Sazerac Company. Of all those, right? You're going to tell that one. On August 4th, 2003, there's always a fucking fire. On August 4th,
The shit is flammable or something.
shit
I
is
don't know.
flammable. On August 4th, 2003, a fire destroyed a Jim Beam aging warehouse in Bardstown, Kentucky. It held about 19,000 barrels of bourbon. Flames were said to rise more than 100 feet from the burning structure, and burning bourbon spilled from the warehouse and set a nearby creek on fire. An estimated 19,000 fish died from both the bourbon in the creek and the fire.
Not a meal was lost.
Right.
Friday fish fries,
In-
half price.
In January 2014, it was announced that Beam Incorporated would be purchased by Suntory Holdings Limited. The combined company is now known as Beam Suntory. They
They
carry
got their hand in just about everything.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
have to do this because their I don't know, their legacy is pretty damn huge. They carry a huge inventory of products. I'm not even about to get into that. There's a million of them. What we'll be sampling tonight is Jim Beam Double Oak, taken straight from the company's website. Quote, Jim Beam Double Oak takes bourbon aging to the next level by using a multi-barreled approach. It all starts with Jim Beam, the world's #1 bourbon. Then, after the traditional 4-year aging process, the bourbon is transferred to a second, freshly charred American white oak barrel and aged to taste. This second barreling allows the liquid to develop an even deeper level of intense spiced oakiness and rich caramel, or caramel if you like, creating a truly unique bourbon whiskey. And I think that's the end of my notes.
Are you telling me that there is zero pop culture with a company that is
Too
this
much.
large?
Too much. Everybody drinks Jim Beam. There you go.
Everybody, not. Oh.
I don't. But whoa. Now, yeah. So at any rate,
Well, that
this whiskey comes highly recommended. It is actually reviewed very well online.
should know.
Note.
No.
Well, you know what?
Cork.
You
Who
know what
does
can,
have a cork?
you know what can happen?
So this is a little spoiler for those of you who,
I think
Like
it's a spoiler because it's not going to come through on the tasting video.
right? Well, we did our tasting Tuesday videos this evening, and the Robert Barnes,
Robbie Burns!
Bobby's cork broke off in the bottle after the taping. Sons of bitches!
Yeah. It's a wee salty.
So now we have to drink
bastard.
2 bottles of whiskey tonight.
Right.
You're in for one hell of a show.
What we can take from this is the fact that literally, though, Jim Beam's legacy as regards bourbon cannot be overstated. I mean, all the Heaven Hill brands, all the Jim Beam brands from 1795 on. I mean, these guys have really, they have
Now
really,
Suntory. I mean,
And now-
Suntory owes
right.
everything that it
Right.
has in America to them.
Exactly. So I mean, these guys' influence cannot be overstated. Jim Beam is a huge, influence on all the bourbons in America and now possibly worldwide with the addition of the Suntory brand. And we're about to glug glug.
Masterful.
It's got a nice glug.
It does have a nice glug. You pass that around.
I like the color.
Look at look at that
the color.
inside that.
That's that
that
double.
Glencairn glass.
That's that double barreling coming out.
Well, he's going heavy-handed
Thank you.
for a
He
wild
is.
card whiskey here.
He just wants to get rid of it.
They're small glasses.
Interesting nose, huh?
Definitely heavy oak.
Heavy oak.
Wow. Ooh.
Real
Is
quick
that it?
before we get in there, I do want to mention something. A listener of the show, good friend of the show, good friend of mine, Brian Fresh,
Yes.
lost his mother this week. So we just wanted to raise a glass to her and
To
raise a
her
glass
honor?
to Brian. Yeah. So Cindy Fresh.
I would also like to wish a happy birthday to my buddy Zach Harkins, mastermind of Cavern.
And I would also like to make a toast to we all know the individual unnamed she will be.
Shelby.
No. She's not having, but within the family there are some health issues going on, and
okay.
we just want her to know that all of our thoughts are with her as well.
That's true.
Um,
And to our patron members.
to our patron members, we've got Rick Wirtz,
Got him.
we've got Scott Knoll,
Got him.
we've got Ryan Weaver,
Got him.
we've got Mario Ciccarella,
Always got him.
we've got Cosmic Roadshow, and Shannon Hoffman.
And Shannon
Hoffman,
So
the
let's
creator of this shirt
That's
and the
right.
one I was wearing last week.
That's right.
cheers.
Isn't it? Yeah. We're actually gonna have to drink it.
I know. I'm terrified.
I'm gonna quit smelling it in a minute and actually drink it. Al went in. Al went deep.
I went in myself.
I don't hate it.
You know what this reminds me of?
Pleasant.
Every Johnny Walker I've ever had.
I understand. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
There's a base to it.
It's
There's nothing about it.
as quick as it comes.
It's
There's nothing to it.
yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
There is zero finish to this, which I'm actually kind of thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When it comes to Jim Beam, that's not a bad thing. But the question is,
It hasn't
what you
been.
get at the front worth what you don't get at the end?
Yeah, there's a lot of times with the finish. It is.
I enjoy the
Yeah,
finish,
yeah.
yeah.
It's delightful.
What do you get out of it that you enjoy?
On this,
Yeah, out of the finish.
Feeling of completion.
Is that what it
It's
is?
just-
Because I'm not getting any finish.
No,
Oh,
I
you
mean,
mean
it's-
this finish?
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
it's just a touch of
I'm not
sweetness.
even sure it's.
Just
I
a
thought you
touch
said
of
you
sweetness.
enjoyed the finish.
No, I enjoy a finish.
I
in
see.
general.
Yes, he really likes the fins.
You know
In
what
general.
this I'm going to classify this as. This is still a shoot whiskey that gives you just a little more something than a bit at the end of it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
slam that and you go, "That's all right,"
Yeah.
and you keep on moving.
I wouldn't put it that way. I could sit down and sip this on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're you're big on the alliterations this evening.
I am.
You're gonna sit down and
Saturday
sip this
out.
on a Saturday night.
Saturday out.
Saturday out. Michael has left the building.
he quit.
He
He's
just
dead.
had one sip, and
He wrote on his notes here, Jim Beam, I'm done.
Yeah, he did.
I still didn't get any show notes. I don't know.
I don't know.
I sent them. It's in that group chat. Door's
it's-
checking.
It's the other group.
You know what though? I think I had too large of a sip the first time. Second sip, I went in for a smaller sip, and there's more there than I initially thought.
Aha.
Yeah. I'm starting to get more of a finish. It's a longer.
I think it's gonna need some of this.
I'm still getting zero.
The sweetness might be the caramel that we're
The
talking
sweetness,
about.
yeah.
Or caramel. I'm not sure which it is.
Ask
How do you,
Mikey.
Mike, ask Mike.
What about the finish?
No, about caramel.
Oh, caramel.
It's caramel.
It's
Yeah.
caramel.
Always has been, always will be.
Right.
Yes.
We stand educated.
Yes.
Let's don't speak for everybody.
I'm sorry. All right, so we have to mention the fact that this sells for about $30 a bottle usually
Usually, yes.
We procured this particular bottle at the amazingly low cost of $17.
Mhm.
Wow.
Now, can I ask you what a traditional bottle of Jim Beam runs? Is it around that?
You'd have to ask
$17
somebody who
range?
buys.
Oh,
Jim
yeah, I'm
Beam.
going to have to
Well, it stays
assume.
there every week. I would assume.
I don't look at garbage.
Sure. I mean, you've
Um,
seen me, so you kind of do.
But you're hot garbage.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
thanks.
tight pants.
Ish.
Yeah, your dumpster's on fire, baby.
You got all that junk all fun.
Sorry, Kevin.
If only had
Didn't mean to disappoint you, bud.
only had a scratch off to give.
I'll give you a T800.
Wow.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I might even in a bind if there was
Yes.
few options. I
If
would
I
buy
were,
it again.
If I were bound,
It doesn't have that burn that Jack Daniels
No.
has.
Yeah, which
Well,
no,
Jim
I
Beam-
greatly
that's-
appreciate.
That's what I'm saying. That those
Yeah.
tier of whiskeys have.
Well, I will say this. I will go straight out and say that if there's a choice between Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, Jim Beam is definitely a much better bourbon.
Okay.
And
I'm just not as versed. The only time I've ever had it
You're
was
not
in
as versed in
cocktails.
shit whiskey.
I would only drink it in cocktails
Look,
because it's the well.
I have drank swag, drunk swag,
Swill?
have swilled.
Have swills.
I have swilled.
Swilly
Swill,
swag.
Have swill, will swag.
I have swill will swag.
There's the shirt. Write that down. Have swill, will swag.
Yeah, the as you said, the no burn part was what I was alluding to earlier about having a Saturday sipping whiskey,
Yeah.
where
Yes.
it's an easy go, or you can just have a little bit and just sip on it all night. Now here's a question.
It's a sipper.
Yes, it
tastes better when
not,
sipped.
Yeah, it's a not non-complex bourbon.
Right. It's got about 2 flavors.
I think I know what you're going to say. Now earlier tonight, everybody sampled the Tin Cup Tenure as
Spoilers.
it's
It's no Tin Cup 10.
see that's what I thought you enjoyed that
Yeah.
because of the finish
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
this doesn't really have much of
No,
that.
This is definitely no Tin Cup 10.
I just can't believe how something as simple as 2 drops of water will change
Really?
this from
What do
being
you
something that completely ends with 1 nanosecond to something that has like
See, I'm
a
starting.
lasting complexity.
I'm starting to get that without the water, though. The
Really?
more
Because I added maybe 2 drops into this, and it's given me more of a finish than it was before,
I'm gonna do it.
and it's definitely given me that caramel that you were.
I
mentioning.
picked up on the caramel, but so this is going to bring it out even more.
No, look, this comes highly recommended. That's why we're doing it.
Right there.
It does.
Imagine racing stripes.
It does heighten the finish.
There you go.
Classic, old style.
Mhm.
Yeah, make that happen.
Okay.
Have swill. will
Wow.
swag.
That does heighten the finish.
Yeah,
All right, give me some. Is it in there?
Wow.
it's crazy what 2 drops of water would do to this.
If you are going to sample the Jim Beam Double Oak, I definitely recommend, and I don't often do this, I recommend putting a
Yes.
little bit of water opens it up quite a bit and brings the finish out.
Because there wasn't a finish before.
No.
As far as I was concerned.
Just a touch of caramel.
Wow.
Not that it's
Holy Moses.
Yeah.
got, not that it's got a giant complex finish now, but it has one.
No,
It has,
it
yeah,
didn't
it
turn it into,
Yeah.
Instead
Have
of just
swill, will swag.
yeah.
yeah,
New episode title. Changing it.
yeah,
They change as they come.
that's right. It's better than Old Crow.
Old Granddad.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering because I'm ready to rate it, but should I rate it on the initial impression or should I rate it?
No, I think you should rate it what it became.
Okay.
Because we're allowed to change our vote up until the end of the show. So,
Yeah, and
why
I mean
not?
we do want to rate it in its form that we find the most palatable.
Go ahead.
Well, I would say that if I'm reading it on the
It's
bourbon
bourbon
scales,
And
so
keep in mind price. It's
Yeah.
it's affordable.
ish. I mean, $30 is still
$17.
$30. Well, should I rate it on the sale price or what did I?
Here's what I say: rate it on MSRP and give it
Yeah.
a few points for sale price.
Okay, so it didn't blow me away, especially initially, but I have to rate it on adding those couple drops of water, which gave it I would say at least 10 more points from
Yeah.
what I was, because I was originally going to give it in the 50s, but I think it had to jump it up into the 60s, so I'm going to give it a 62,
Okay.
which is higher than I would ever expect to rate a
Me
Jim
too.
Beam whiskey.
Me too.
But like I said, there was nothing offensive
Although
about it.
Jim Beam has always been a little surprising to me in regard to the fact that I usually consider it like shit whiskey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Beam products are generally better than a lot of shit.
Speed rack. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really not
Yeah.
speed rack quality.
Right.
Yeah.
65.
65.
I wouldn't have guessed you for a 65.
What would you have guessed me?
Probably in the high 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it opened up. I'm with
Oh, it definitely did open
it
up.
definitely. I would have given it in the high 50s, and then without water, 58. With water, 65.
See, I'm
61.
not 61. See, I'm not going that high. My initial reaction was high 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And the water does definitely bring the
All right, 63.
the-
Change me.
the fin-
63.
the finish.
What numbers these are.
63. The I was gonna give it originally was gonna give it a 57, but with the addition of the water, I actually prefer it without the water.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 59.
Okay. See, that's interesting because almost always I prefer whiskey without water.
Mhm.
This
Well, it
benefited.
seems like a trend that has been following the show lately is the American whiskeys that we've been drinking. I've preferred the complexity that the water adds.
yeah.
Now I don't even think I added it to any of the scotches we've had lately.
You don't need to.
because I would never do that.
You don't need to.
Maybe the Robert Burns, but get rid of some of those.
Um,
flowers.
Do you give it a star?
What's the star mean again?
It goes because we give out of 4 Wednesday night whiskey stars.
I'll give it a half.
Half star.
I can have a half
Okay,
star.
well, what does that mean?
What does it mean?
What does
It
it
means
say?
absolutely
This is a-
shit.
It
Is
means
what it
we
means.
give it a star.
Yeah.
And all of us have the ability to get a star.
Right.
It's not
Okay.
getting a full star for me, but
I'll
it's
give
getting
it
half of a star.
between Mike and I. Will give it 1 star. I'll give it another half a star,
Al.
Yeah.
just because
Half?
I.
Half, yeah.
So I'm going to give it a half too. So that's going to get
2
2 out of
stars.
4 stars.
Okay. All right. I like. Okay.
Which
Now
would-
it has meaning. Somehow we've added meaning to it.
With the grand scheme of it, we've had the meeting.
So with 2 out of 4 stars, and do we recommend it?
I see. I was.
See,
hoping,
this is where the
I was
sure
hoping this
recommendation comes in.
I was hoping this question wasn't going to.
Because I
Real quick,
in my rating.
Rick says, like my wonderful friend Bruce Sheddick does, add 1 and only 1 ice cube. So keep that in mind.
That's
listeners.
almost heresy. Although if Bruce Sheddick does it, I don't know.
Well, I could see it for this.
For this, yeah.
Because, like I said, that 2 drops of water opened it up.
Yeah.
So if you like a chilled whiskey, I
Yeah.
think adding 1 ice cube would definitely give it some.
If I was going to
character.
do it, this is the whiskey I'd do
And
too.
just for those at home listening, it has sat in my car all day, so it is chilled. It's not cold, but it's not room temperature at this point either.
But the one thing about an ice cube will also do is it will also water it down a little bit,
Yes.
which
Mhm.
chilled is one thing, hydrated is
This
another.
I think this gets the Shore recommendation. The Shore is kind of like a wishy-washy.
I would say
It's not a yes.
Yes, with an asterisk that says if you can pick it up less than MSRP. Because I wouldn't spend 30.
So
on
you're-
this.
No.
What is the epistemology of the Shore rating again?
Would you
Shore.
recommend it?
Yeah, sure.
Sure,
Yeah, sure.
at $17.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
Sure rating. So that's kind of interesting. I expected this to be right in the tank, but it hung out. It's hanging.
I kind of actually my anticipation was pretty much hopefully exactly I was hoping for what it turned out to be, which is yeah, we really probably normally would have never tried this.
Yeah.
It was recommended. I'm happy people recommended it to us because it is
Pushed us in that direction. To
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll
yeah.
just for the listeners at home and those watching on our YouTube channel, this has been recommended highly since December.
Yes.
Like it's been, you guys
Yes.
need to go try this.
Yes.
You need to go try this. You need to go try this. We're like, we will. We swear, we're getting there. A week later, did you try it? Not yet. Shush. But we did finally. So I don't know. I'm decently surprised, but I'd say that it was worth the wait.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, I could see myself in a moment of like just being weird.
I would have been-
but maybe
I would
blah,
have
blah,
still been friends with you if you'd have said, "Guys, I'm up at the Valley drinking Double Oak Jim Beam."
blah.
Well, that's what I mean. This seems like something that you could find at your like average bar in Altoona. They would maybe put it on their top shelf and say, "Hey, if you want to
That's
try
so
something."
fucked up.
I know.
It's true though. It's true though. And
Absolutely.
they would say, "If you want to try something exotic, here's our double Oak."
Yeah,
here's
the Double Oak.
Right.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting too. It definitely made me laugh, chuckle a little bit when I was doing the history, and I found out how much they tout, like how innovative it is that they double barrel it. I mean, how many whiskeys have we drank this
So
week?
many.
Yeah.
It's like
And
such
that's most scotches. That's just the standard.
Yeah.
Look at Macallan. That's
yeah,
their,
right,
that's
right.
their game.
This is like, oh wow, we really pulled something new and unique out
Double
here.
that price tag.
Those
Yeah.
crazy Americans.
Yeah,
Speaking of Americans and crazy pastimes,
you,
I'm
buddy.
telling you.
You are
Um,
Hold on a minute. Let's
You
just-
want to cheer? Or
I do. I just want to cheer this.
do we need to
segment.
get a laugh track or an applause track in here?
the way you just segued.
I
Yeah.
don't know. The beauty of a good segue is no
Is in the
acknowledgement.
subtlety.
Yeah, no acknowledgement.
We shit on everything.
We fucked that up.
Well, I know that the beauty of a good segue is in the subtlety, and that's precisely why I like to call it out.
Part of our discussion topics for the for those who like inside information, the
Inside?
four of us are in a group chat that basically chimes all hours of the night, and probably you texted me this morning at 8:22 or whatever,
Mhm.
8:23, and I thought Mikey's probably going, "What are you guys doing?
Fuck you guys.
Why are you awake?"
Yeah, I'm
Like-
awake at 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Jay and I literally.
There's no hesitation. I'm like, it's 4 a.m. He's not going to be awake. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Hey,
Bing. Yeah.
right back.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Just all the time. But this past weekend was a huge American tradition.
Pastime.
Yeah, the
Pastime.
Super Bowl. It is a tradition. I mean, families get together and have put on a little bit of smorgasbord and have personal bets and in between them. So it is a pastime.
Yeah. And I'm going to spearhead this because I know everyone's thoughts, and they were originally my thoughts. But after having, what was it, Sunday? This is Wednesday. So
Hold on. I think you need to let Al present first before you give the
Okay.
rebuttal. You're giving the rebuttal before the.
All right, yeah, go ahead. You're right.
Well, I put this out there and said, hey, we want to have a topic. Let's talk about the white horse that happened this weekend, which everybody affectionately calls the Super Bowl. Or the white horse, the white elephant in the room. And the this year's Super
Maybe
Bowl.
he's over here calling it a white elephant.
Yeah, white elephant in the room.
I'm gonna power walk my ass right out of here.
Not until I get never mind. This Yeti's gonna get jealous.
That's right.
But
Thick Yeti.
yeah, that's
Thick
thick
Yeti.
Move your Yeti.
Moving right along. The Super Bowl generally, like I said, for a lot of people, you put on something fancy. I have a lot of people over, just small environment. A lot of people go out to bars, but
Time out.
it's
Can I time out?
you can
Can I
time
time
out.
out
You
here?
can say I'll pause. Just I
Explain.
can't
Put
rewind.
on something fancy.
Fancy.
For,
Yeah.
As far as a feast, they'll get
Oh, okay. Food.
not
Alright.
clothes and dress up in
Alright.
Victorian.
I was
outfits.
wondering. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, they put their
I was
pinkies
like,
up and drink
yes.
tea fancy.
Where's my cummerbund? Kickoff is about to start.
Honey, the Doritos commercial's on, and I don't have my monocle. What am I gonna do?
Damn ascot! Where are you when I need it?
They break out both crock pots. You know,
Right.
pulled pork in one and the
I
hot
got you.
dogs in the other.
My glasses.
But so it is something that large amount of Americans do participate this weekend in some form or another. Not that they even care about the teams playing, especially being Pennsylvanians. Definitely for us, we could give a flying fuck less.
Well, there's
But-
kind of a new sport in Pennsylvania that's called "Let's Hate Tom Brady."
True.
it's not that new of a
It's
sport.
not that new of a
It's
sport.
actually
That
been
much
going
of a
on for
The fuzzy's been going on
Yeah,
for
it's
a
pretty
while.
much the
18 years or so. It's
Well, in lack of having a team to root for, it's kind of like what we do. You know?
Well, this is true. But that was the biggest. I mean, this week was a huge disappointment as far as Super Bowls. I should say overall, as far as Super Bowls. I mean, the game was point blank pathetic. Somebody on Twitter's put on the halftime show. They said New England 3, Rams nothing, Maroon 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so pathetic.
But it was a defensive game.
People
wasn't
say that.
It
and
wasn't a
that's the thing
defensive
about
game.
it.
It was a piss poor played game.
I will
No,
give it to
there
the
were
Patriots
good defensive.
defense.
Yeah.
There were good defensive schemes sometimes.
Here's the thing, and before we talk, well, we've already started talking about the Super Bowl. Before we talk about that, we should talk about the controversy that marred the Super Bowl, which is
Which
the
one?
Saints
Sweet.
should have been there.
But if you say that, then go back the week previous and say the Steelers
Yeah,
should have.
I mean, a
week
bad
previous.
call.
yeah, because
is
it was the
always-
same, almost identical bad call.
Well,
But let's
that's the
talk
thing.
about what it really should have been. It should have been Sweet Victory from SpongeBob.
Well, that's halftime. We haven't even started talking halftime.
Halftime is coming. Halftime.
But
is
that's what I
coming.
mean, though. The Super Bowl,
That's for you, Dylan.
the Rams shouldn't have made it. I mean,
No.
their star player was injured. He was clearly hasn't been 100% all playoffs. So, like, their offense already was hamstrung. And then you couple that with the fact that their quarterback couldn't complete a pass to save his life.
He had
This is-
trouble.
This is the first Super Bowl that ever had one red zone appearance.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes.
Not by one team or the other.
Just in general.
One period.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Rams
Yeah.
made 0 red zone appearances.
That is so true. And everybody, including myself, well, I shouldn't say everybody. I'm sure there's some real haters out there as far as Tom Brady. But I really do believe that he is the GOAT, one of the greatest of all time as far as the quarterback
Don't
position.
argue it. Just hate him as you want.
You're right. I don't like him. But as far as his talent, astounding. He deserves every record in the record because he set them.
does. I still
But
think Montana
saying-
was better.
I do love Montana. To
I think
death.
he was better overall.
But as
Different
far
areas.
as what he's done in the past
Yes, sure.
and
sure.
all these decades,
Oh my
the thing
god!
is, but that's what I'm saying. As far
As
Mike's-
active quarterbacks
as
go,
far as Mike's point, the
Yeah.
game had one of the best quarterbacks of our lifetime.
yeah,
Nothing. One red zone appearance.
Barely.
It
I mean, he
was
had
the
one
worst
receiver
Super
doing
Bowl
anything.
ever.
Edelman, I mean,
Edelman.
he kind of deserved the MVP, but at the same time, when you have 3 points held to the other team, how is that not a defensive MVP? I don't understand
That's
how
true.
you're giving the
Yeah.
MVP to a wide receiver who had 0 touchdowns.
Yes.
right, exactly. That's
He
a
was
great
the,
point.
He was
It's
the
a great
force for
point.
the game, but at the same time, I mean, as we're going to talk about the game or however long you guys want to talk about it, it doesn't matter. The point of the game is, football in general, is fans these days keep wanting to see these offensive shootouts. They don't want to see the defense wins championships argument.
Yeah, but
And
you know
this
what?
wasn't a defense wins championships argument. That's what it is. What's happening, James?
What's
Yeah,
James?
put it closer. I can't read it.
Still not as swaggy. Oh wait, still not as.
awesome
Oh.
as hockey. Well, true.
So swag.
But people are saying that this is the reason why the NFL is pushing towards a more offensive game. The refs are doing more in the way of calling penalties, making sure that the quarterbacks aren't touched, so they have more time.
I think there's some
more.
truth to that.
But at the
Yes.
same time, we've had these rules all season, and there were shootouts. This is the fucking Super Bowl, and it's
Nothing.
3-7 or 3-10 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You argue for an offensive league all you want. This was a boring football game.
Look, if you want to say it sucked, I'm there.
It sucked.
It absolutely
there.
sucked.
It sucked. I would love
I'm
to
there.
see.
Okay,
I would
good.
love to see kickoff after sack after sack. Defense is winning championships. That's
I
not
would
what
like
this
to-
game was.
For those of you who are interested in seeing that, Mike does have a pay site, which we will put in the show notes.
Yeah, I pick off sacks.
One thing,
but that's-
speaking of like, was it a defensive game or not? I think to some degree it was. One of the things that really fucking killed me though was like the Patriots literally.
Wow. Kevin says, interesting fact, a single bettor in Vegas won $100,000 on a $1,000 bet that the Rams would only score 3 points.
Wow, that lucky bastard. I find it interesting that the Patriots, one of the greatest offenses of all time, right? They pretty much ran like 2 plays all fucking game. It was like the same fucking play.
They
over
really
and
limited
over
it,
and
but
over
I
they-
was
and
confused
over.
as to why Coach Cowher was with the Rams.
Well, because the Rams had an extremely powerful offense during the regular
They
season.
did.
Sure did.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah. And that reference was because that Cowher was
I
known
know,
for that.
Yeah, I know.
Run 2 up the middle and then throw
Yeah.
1 third.
Yeah.
You know, is the playbook from the old days, and I mean that can work if you have
Sure.
a true power running game. But
Sure.
it's the game itself, and the numbers prove it. As far as this past Super Bowl, the numbers were in for this year. I think
It was down.
it was down. They had a big drop off as
You
far
mean
as
that amazing halftime show to pull everybody in?
you know.
I
I
read
heard
that,
about that.
and this is something a stat that
tax-
I read that didn't surprise me in the least was that Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, had one of the lowest markets of any Super Bowl market.
Really?
And hearing that, I was like, that makes sense.
Mm.
Because I remember distinctly whenever the LA Kings, a hockey team, were playing in the Stanley
Oh,
Cup
yeah,
Finals.
yeah.
And I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I wanted to watch Game 7 on the
Yeah.
television, and I was out at the
They
time.
just didn't
So I
give a
went
shit.
into a bar, and I was like, hey, you guys got the Kings game on? And they had a Lakers game on. And I was just like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me? Your hockey team is playing for the Stanley Cup, the biggest trophy in all of hockey, and you've got a fucking regular season Lakers game on?
Well,
Are you kidding me? And it was just like, well, that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Because they
does.
care about one sport and one sport only
Right.
out there.
Right.
And it's just, they thought that moving them from St. Louis to Los
LA.
Angeles was going to boost that market. It adds
They
no
just
shit.
don't care.
There's
Yeah.
nothing I can compete.
There's
Give the
nothing
refs
there.
as much power as you want. They're not going to bring a market to Los Angeles. It's not
No.
going to happen.
Mhm.
So, I mean, let's talk about the halftime show.
There's a segue.
There's a segue. Everyone's immediate reaction was it was terrible because
Fair enough.
it was terrible. I will say this: I am glad that Maroon 5 actually played.
And I know why, and I think it's true.
And so I will give them that. I am glad that Maroon 5 played because that means Train did not.
That's a good point. It's a really good point.
But however, as far as the overall experience of the Super Bowl as a whole, I think this year's Super Bowl has been one of my favorites because the real winner are the memes that have been coming out
Yeah.
immediately post halftime show. I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
first one I saw was the big fat dude in the mirror with Illinois wrote across his chest with a Sharpie drinking a beer.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
I've never seen something unify people as much.
I know. It's
Yeah.
been like
Yeah.
it's been fantastic.
I've seen like the single moms on Facebook like drooling over Adam Levine or whatever
Yeah.
his name is,
I don't
and
care.
that's the only people that have thought that this was anything positive.
I heard that Liam Neeson was seen power walking.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
He power walked.
Yeah. For me, in the 3 days that have passed, 4 days that have passed since the Super Bowl happened, every day the memes have just been absolutely killing
They've been
me.
in bloom. It's been good.
if
Um,
you care for memes.
Well,
If you
or
care
if you
for
like the tweets, Tony Romo himself had one right after the game. He put up there. It's the only reason they wear helmets in the NFL is to stop Tom Brady from kissing the other players on the lips after the game.
Ooh.
And they actually have a group
Come
of
from
pictures.
Tom Romo.
Yeah, they actually have a
Tony
group
Romo
of pictures after they won. He's walking around kissing all these other pet players on the lips.
Wow.
When you can, you can.
So
Hey,
that's
You know what struck
known cheater.
You know,
Yeah, well.
you know what's better tell Giselle about that one. You know what struck me the most about the halftime show was not. Well, first of all, I kind of wish it was worse because it was actually harder to take how incredibly mediocre it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it would have just been better if it would have just been like a
that's
dumpster
because the
fire.
sound man had it on.
Oh yeah.
Everything
I
was.
did see a post that was the Super Bowl was marred by a working
By a
sound
working-
system.
Yeah, sound system.
But the thing for me that really stuck out was how disjointed it felt. Like
There
there
was
was
no
Cohesion.
Yeah.
cohesion. There was no fluidity to it at all.
yeah, the acts seemed like they were just thrown together. There was no.
And I'm going to
cohesion.
assume that they were picked merely because they appeared with Maroon 5 at some point.
Maybe. but
I have no idea.
I don't know that
I-
for sure.
I-
I'm speculating.
I did hear that some major heavy hitters actually turned down offers to play the Super Bowl out of some show of solidarity with Kaepernick and
Makes
something
sense.
to that effect.
Makes sense.
Like some heavy hitters were approached before Maroon 5.
I did see an article that said that Kaepernick's attorney actually threw Maroon 5 on the table for not,
Oh, really?
Yeah, for not standing up to take the knee to.
Are you kidding
How
me?
dare you sell out and do the show?
Can I
guy.
talk about the controversy? The
Please.
SpongeBob one you alluded
Yeah,
to?
please.
So, the creator of SpongeBob died earlier. I guess it was last year, technically. He
Yeah.
died. But there was basically an internet uprising that was like, hey, you know what we should do? Since it's hard for them to rally and get someone to play the halftime, much like the Oscar hosting, no one wants to do it. So they were having trouble finding someone to play the halftime.
And what does that say alone right there? That it's hard to find somebody to play the halftime show. at the
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
yeah.
It used to be one of the greatest things.
Yeah.
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 And so they were like, let's see if we can get this SpongeBob song, Sweet Victory, from one of their earlier episodes. Let's see if we can get that played at the halftime show during the Super Bowl, because it would honor the legacy of the man that created the show,
Right.
and it would get people like talking. Obviously, it's got a strong message anyway. So what started almost as a meme kind of snowballed into a change.org petition, posts all over social media,
Mhm.
to the point where Maroon 5 themselves, once they were confirmed to play the halftime, basically said, we're going to be doing this. Like, hey, tune in. We're doing Sweet Victory on the halftime show. Fast forward to the game. They start their set. Obviously, they're not starting with their ace in the hole.
Mhm.
But the show progresses, and you cut to a cutaway of a cartoon who is Squidward from SpongeBob getting ready to present Sweet
Right.
Victory. And as soon as that cuts off, they start playing some fucking random ass
Right.
rap song.
Right.
Has nothing to do with SpongeBob or anything.
Yeah.
That was all that they did, was that really quick.
Oh,
maybe
it was like
blink and
seconds.
you missed it. Yeah. And I saw a thing online that was like, obviously the internet was up in arms because that's all the tribute that they gave to this
Mhm.
man who's brought so much joy to kids. But someone mentioned the fact that what's more infuriating than the fact that they didn't present and play this song that they promised they would, what's more infuriating than the fact that they deleted all their tweets that confirmed that they would, what's more infuriating than all of that is the fact that they forced hundreds of thousands of people who would have not tuned in for the halftime show
Yeah.
to tune in for that 3-second clip that brought them no satisfaction.
Right.
Mhm.
And that is the most infuriating thing out of the whole entire issue. So, I mean, that's what you get for trusting Maroon 5, but...
Well-
Dude can't even clear his throat, let alone come
that's
through
what I'm
with a
saying. He just
promise.
sounds like someone with a bubble in his throat. If he cleared his
Yeah.
goddamn throat, we might get an actual idea of what he sounds like. I digress.
Well, if he'd have saved up a little more money, right?
Cracker Jack.
That's my favorite meme.
yeah, it was an Epiphone headstock tattoo.
I saw that.
If he'd have saved up just a little more money, he could have got the Gibson.
Could have got the Gibson
Gibson
tattoo.
Gibson Les Paul tattoo.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I just thought it was incredibly bad, incredibly mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm glad that they actually played. I did think I'm like, wow, they're actually playing. I don't think the rappers were. I think that was all piped
Yeah.
because you can't get that clarity and that precision
Right.
live in
From
that
a
kind
live
of
show,
environment.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to see me play guitar?
Yeah.
That's what he fucking said on
Yeah.
that stage.
Hey,
You guys want to see me
you
play
guys
guitar?
want to see me play guitar? Hey, what did you guys think about? I saw some of this controversy, and this might be something we want to chew over for not very long. I saw somebody pissed online. Actually, it was more than one person. If Adam Levine can go shirtless at the Super Bowl
Yeah.
halftime
I did.
show,
Yes.
you
I
know
did
what's
hear
so
about
wrong with Janet Jackson?
Nothing.
I know.
Well, the female
Yeah.
body is the sex symbol. The male body's not, I
Right,
guess.
right.
According to the
Yeah.
FCC, well, and many
according
others,
to
yes.
over half of the women that are friends with me on Facebook,
Drooling
that statement
over
is
it, yeah.
false.
Absolutely. See, I did find that a little bit interesting. That
It
it's
was like, Adam Levine. I'm like,
soccer
you like a
mom
dude
Milk's
with
going
prison tats?
crazy. Right.
Not even good presentation.
No,
It's my
like,
sketch
It's an
book.
Epiphone, for Christ's sake.
I mean, he did have the dude's ripped. Okay,
Whatever. Yeah.
you know, sure.
Yeah.
Is he in a highly successful band? Yeah, we don't know why. Oh, well,
Right.
we do know
We
why
do
because
know
he
why.
takes his fucking shirt off.
Right.
But the point of it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's-
matter any of that. You shouldn't be able to be shirtless if they're going to have this double standard. If the NFL's gonna ban people like Janet
Right.
Jackson and Justin Timberlake from performing ever again because of this,
And I'm just going to
Well,
go out
actually,
on a limb.
Timberlake got
Timberlake-
zero.
yeah,
he
he
got
came back.
nothing.
yeah,
Right.
he came back.
I mean,
last year.
FCC, everybody was all over Janet Jackson. Timberlake,
And
got
I'm just
nothing
going to
on
go
it.
out there, and you know that I'm always going to err on the side of liberty if possible. So rather than say that Levine can't take his shirt off, I just want to go on record and say that I think that females should be allowed to take their shirts off.
You mean like in
Absolutely.
every other country other than America?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
That's
Boobies are evil
right.
in America.
Right. I'm pro booby.
It's free the nipple.
Let's drink to boobies.
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 Boobity boobity boobs.
I once knew that a certain band member of my band was about to be out of there because at one band practice we toasted boobies and he didn't toast to boobies. And it was like next week he was gone.
It's fair.
That's totally fair, dude.
Did he have another job at the Bryce Jordan Center that he couldn't make?
No.
All right, let's. Speaking of shots fired,
All
let's.
right, I want to segue, James. Can I segue now that I got a good
Hold on,
segue?
it's got to be subtle.
All right, so speaking of sports, we're talking about the Super Bowl, and yesterday I was driving around with my dad, and we were listening to sports radio as he does in his car. He listens to Sirius XM sports radio,
Mhm.
and he was saying to me, the one thing that brought up this discussion was the fact that now that football's done, all he's going to have to listen to is basketball, because that's the only 2 seasons in sports radio.
I hate
Well,
basketball.
they've got 3. They've got baseball, basketball, and football.
Yes,
Those
they
are
do
the only
not-
3 sports they ever
If
talk
it's
about.
ESPN related, there is no hockey.
Yep. So he's listening to Colin Cowherd or whoever,
Yep.
and he was saying it sucks now that this is done, that he's going to have to listen to nothing but basketball until baseball season starts. And I told him, I said, well, first of all, I said 2 things. I said, first of all, there's hockey channels on Sirius, which he programmed, and he will listen to those now, hopefully. But I also said, I mean, you've got a car that's made in the 2000s and earlier. You're going to have Bluetooth capabilities. Download some podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was, I don't do podcasts. I'm not going to do podcasts. So that kind of led to a little discussion that he and I had, which was basically radio versus podcast. And I'm not talking about music, because no matter how you listen to music, there's going to be an easier way or a harder
You're
way
talking
to do
about
it.
talk radio.
I'm talking about talk
Right.
radio. So we had a nice discussion because his arguments kind of matched what I was saying. I was saying for podcasts, really anything that you have an interest in, there's going to be 5 to 10 hundreds of podcasts that you can check out. I mean, look at us. We'll talk about everything under the sun if we want to. But, I mean, you have people like
Mostly
Joe
we just talk
Rogan
about boobies and foreskin.
and foreskin.
And
mainly.
beaver buttholes.
Yes.
Right.
Anal
Right.
glands.
Same
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. Secretions of various natures.
But his argument was,
Nefarious.
with
Nefarious.
podcasts, it's pre-recorded,
Dr.
so it's
Nefarious?
not live. It's not talking about current events, and then there's obviously not the call in and talk to the hosts type thing, which I get. I mean, we're not gonna have a podcast where, I mean, we're gonna talk about current events and up to date discussions, but the problem is you're not gonna have those people that are gonna be able to call in the minute something
Yeah,
happens.
but we have this going on right now that we can respond to.
Yeah, and we still have things like, I mean, we're talking about the Super Bowl, which happened 4 days ago, 3 days ago.
Right.
So we're current enough, but we, the nice thing about podcasts in general is the breadth of variety that's out there.
Mhm.
I mean, I was telling him, because he finds things like true crime and serial killers, that kind of thing. He finds that interesting. I said, there's dozens of true
Me
crime
too,
podcasts.
and I listen to dozens of podcasts
Yeah.
about it.
And Shannon, who's obviously
Psychotic.
she's crazy awesome.
Right.
So she knows all of those, and I was like, I can give you maybe 3 dozen podcasts to check out, just like off the top of my head.
Shannon Hoffman is pro boobies here too.
Oh yeah, she is. So, and that's what I was telling him. I was like, you find an interest, you're gonna be able to find a podcast that meets
Mhm.
that interest. But his stubbornness is, I'm gonna stick with my talk radio. I'm gonna stick with ESPN radio. And I'm gonna ride this ship into the
I'm
ground.
gonna be bored.
So I
to
want to see what you
tears.
guys had to say about, like, what do you think about talk radio? What do you think about like the XM Sirius radio, those type of shows versus what podcasts can bring to the table?
I think it's interesting because I used to listen very heavily to more the talk radio oriented kinds of things. And I'm almost 180 degrees opposite because the podcast for me has killed me listening to
Right.
anything of that nature because I can tune in immediately to a topic specific area that I want to listen to right now,
weekly.
weekly. I mean, so
It's
it's
not like listening to a dated album. You're getting a brand new episode every week.
right.
most of
So,
these.
I mean, for me, I'm literally 180 degrees opposite only because of the fact. Now, does your dad know how to navigate that kind of stuff? That you might feel uncomfortable.
So I think maybe the biggest thing for him, which I can totally understand, which is an argument that I was going to bring up, is it's intimidating because there is such a
It's huge.
wide. I mean,
Yeah.
I know for me personally, I think I have a dozen podcasts that I try to keep on religiously,
Mhm.
and for like how I stopped working,
Mm-hmm.
the most of the way that I indulged in these podcasts was on my drive to work. So my backlog got bigger and bigger and bigger the less that I was driving. So it was just one of those things where I'm like, I get if you're going to be intimidated by the volume of these podcasts and how many there are and the variety that's out there. Maybe that's one of them. Whereas the ease of use for throwing on, like you turn on your car and there you go, Sirius is playing for you. Maybe that's an argument to be had.
I mean that's definitely something for me. It's okay. I just figure I'll get to it.
Right.
You know, I usually listen to podcasts on my phone.
Yeah.
That's not to say I don't occasionally do it from like a desktop or something or a laptop, but I usually do it from my phone. I'm subscribed to a certain number. It just keeps them backlogged when I
Yeah.
get to, you know, whatever I want to listen to. It's
If
right
you want to
there.
skip one or two, you can. For
Yeah.
most of them.
Yeah, but for me, the idea that I can immediately access whatever topic or subject area is interesting me right now at the moment. And, you know, I don't even just listen to what I'm subscribed to. I have a certain number that I subscribe to because basically my phone only has so much storage space. And I know that if I subscribe to every podcast on Earth,
There it goes.
there it goes. But that doesn't mean that I don't use the search function.
Sure.
And every once in a while, oh, hey, I'm not subscribed to anything like this, but I'm interested in that right now. So,
Or for
boom,
me,
boom, boom.
like there's actors and comedians that I just want to like. I don't necessarily care about this podcast, but I
Right,
care
right,
about
right.
this episode
Right,
because
right,
it has
right.
this interview that's
Yeah.
relevant to me.
I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the search function is your friend.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, for me, it's funny. I mean, podcasts killed the talk radio stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, for myself, I don't know, being a little bit older, I sort of agree with your dad. My favorite show, I already talked about earlier, WDVE, Pittsburgh in the morning. It's morning talk
Jake's
radio.
locked out
I
of the
mean,
room.
it's a doorknob. Do we have to give you
It
instructions?
barely
Wait,
functions.
Counterclockwise.
I'll give you show notes on how to operate it.
Thanks.
But
Watch out for my
there,
head.
you know, I start out every morning, depending which way, north, south, east, or west, is how long I can listen to the show in the morning. As far as I did try to follow 2 podcasts, and not to say I'm going to date myself, but I had them hooked up to my Zoom player, and whenever I put my Zoom player online, remember,
Yeah.
it would download.
It gets really annoying when the 8-track clicks over to the other
Yes,
track.
I know, and it cuts right in the middle of
Cuts
that.
it right in the middle.
That
It's horrible.
Meatloaf song, I
It's
hated that.
interrupted your
But
television time.
Right.
But you have to get up and change the channel. But as far as trying to look for a specific genre, I don't know. I wanted just to be entertained. There's a certain segment of things that I'll let inform me anymore. Like I follow Twitter just to see because I do follow some news agencies. And then the rest of it's just some sports people and then some political people. So I get this whole mix of things that I can look at it, and within 2 minutes I can see what's going on in the whole world. So there is that as far as today's technology. But as far as just
So
the
you're a little more
podcast-
passive about it.
yeah, I guess because
See, I
I'm not
like
looking-
the active agency of being able to
Right.
speak out immediately or seek out immediately what I want to find. Boom, there it is.
No, that's like I said. It start the day. It's just like I know I've been doing like for my particular job. I've been doing the same job, same organization for 28 years. It's so automatic. I'll say I'm pretty good at it. That, like I said, I start the day. I just want something to get my mind off of, clear my mind, or just put me in a good sense of humor to start the day rolling. And once I get going, there is no time to try to get into a podcast
Right.
or anything like that. So maybe it is more of a senior part of their life.
I'm
I
going to
don't
say
know.
no because, me personally, like, we have a podcast.
Really?
We're still the only podcast that I've ever listened to.
Time out. This isn't talk
See?
radio.
Hold on, let's get a caller in here.
Let's get a caller. in.
Okay, go to the phones.
Right.
So, and that's another thing. Like, I know that talk radio has always been huge. And especially now, people who are in my age bracket, they're always like, who would never have said, like, 5 years ago, like, I've been listening to talk radio this morning. You're doing what?
Yeah.
I have never listened to talk radio, nor do I listen to podcasts. And it's not that I haven't tried. Like, when we originally started doing the podcast, I thought I probably should listen to some podcasts. To try to understand
See
in
what's going
some
on,
kind of
yeah.
format. And I probably went through about 10 to 12 podcasts. I listened to a random episode each, and I didn't like any one of them.
Okay.
So I kind of went like, well, I'm glad mine's cool.
Yeah.
And like,
Shameless Wednesday night
Whiskey plug, yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as, again, with like talk radio, it's the same thing. Like, I don't listen to talk radio either. So
I think for me, part of it is
it's not completely generational because I'm not in the generation and I don't listen.
I think part of it too.
And it's kind of double standard. I have a podcast, but I don't listen to podcasts.
I mean, a lot of it is, are they offering what you want?
True.
Yes.
Like for me, I parted ways with a lot of the talk radio providers only because of the fact that I couldn't identify with a lot of them after a certain point of time.
And that was where my discussion with my dad was, because what are you putting yourself through this basketball talk when I know for a fact he doesn't watch basketball and he doesn't care about basketball. But on ESPN Radio, 90% of the discussion from now until baseball season is going to be
Oh yeah, and in
basketball.
March it's going to be like
Yeah.
unbearable.
And that's what I'm telling him. Like, if you had somewhat of a vested interest in this, sure, keep listening.
Right.
But
Right.
he's got his radio on in his car on his drive to work, and then as soon as he gets to his desk, he puts the radio back on, and then when he gets in his car on his way home, he's listening to the radio again.
Yeah.
So my question to him and to those of you who are still kind of doing this to yourselves, why wouldn't you want to like ingest something that means something?
You know what
to
you should do? You should go over and you should steal your father's phone.
And I thought about it.
And you should just go over and say, Dad, name me 10 things you're interested in.
Yeah.
And you should find him 10 podcasts and subscribe him to them and say, here, spend a week listening to this and see what you think.
Yeah.
I think you'd blow his mind if you gave him 10. Give him 2.
Even that, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's what
yeah.
I mean. Like, it's just, there's so many good podcasts, and it's trial and error. I mean, Jay, I guarantee if you gave us enough time, we could find podcasts other than the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee that you would love.
Yeah, no doubt. Like,
Guaranteed.
I'd like to say that I'm still a huge gamer. I mean, I'm still actively into the culture and the universe.
Guaranteed there's a few Juggalo podcasts.
Yeah, and I guarantee you can find Brian Fallon on the podcast.
Oh my word.
Right.
I'd have to call off. One more episode.
I have 196 episodes to go. I'll be in on Tuesday.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
But like when I first, there was a few of them. There was a few of them. Like I downloaded like the PlayStation podcast.
Do you think we should? Would it be surreptitious to just accidentally pour myself some Tin Cup 10 instead of?
No.
Oh, look at
You. But you just got schooled, son.
I did.
I wish I didn't have so much Jim Beam left from this class.
I know. I've been trying to choke it down.
That's one thing. Hey, we're here to enjoy. At least that's my viewpoint of it.
Well, I think my rating's about to go up.
But like I downloaded like the PlayStation podcast and I tried to listen to that and I'm like, okay, but I'm not interested in.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead. I think you're going to say exactly what I was going to.
So, well, I'm going to give it an analogy because I'm obviously everybody knows big into Dungeons and Dragons. I downloaded the official Dungeons and Dragons
Fucking
podcast.
right.
Yes,
I knew it.
And it's just dry. It's boring.
terribly dry.
There's a couple episodes I love.
Because it's corporate.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then I listened to Nerd Poker, which is Brian Posehn and his friends sitting around probably high as a kite, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Most of the time, just playing like we used to play, just
Yeah.
talking about bullshit,
Yeah.
making up.
Don't
fake
go to the
fans.
official source.
Right.
Find some nerd who's really
Who
into
cares?
that topic.
Someone
who
who cares.
And it's way better. Don't go to official
Like the
sites.
Wednesday night whiskey committee cares.
Exactly.
Right. We care.
We care.
Fucking, we're
If
caring right
you have
now.
T3
bitches.
and scratch offs, we care.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
we
yeah.
we absolutely care.
I'm caring so hard
T3.
right now.
Don't listen to the official Jim Beam podcast.
I could-
if you want to
right.
talk about whiskey.
That's the analogy right there. Do not listen to the Jim Beam podcast.
But like
Listen to
even
the
like
Wednesday night
you
whiskey
know, as a
podcast.
huge Penguins fan that I am, and hockey fan in general, like I downloaded the Penguins podcast, listened to one and went,
No.
Oh.
No.
I'd rather
no,
listen
no.
to Potash, you know, do
Yeah.
his spiels other than, you know.
Maybe I should start with Jay. Give him a little podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll tell you what, that
Yeah.
might be easier. Yeah, if you could.
Right, right.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point, though.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
But it's just none of it.
And it's easy, and I think maybe that's what turned him off, and maybe that's what's turning you off. Is
I don't want to say that I'm turned off. I just haven't found something that I
Really
but that's
like
what I
it.
mean. It's
Yeah.
it's easy enough to just get on and be like, okay, what are my interests? I like the Penguins. Oh, there's a Penguins official podcast. I want to listen to that. But I don't love it. Okay, what else do I like? I like PlayStation. Well, there's a PlayStation one. I gotta like that. So maybe that's
Where's
what I need.
Nathan Peretta's podcast on
Jesus
the inner
Christ,
workings
could
of
you
PlayStation?
imagine?
He'd get like
If he had
It's
a
not like
podcast,
we haven't invited him here.
he has shunned us
He has.
so
I don't
many
think he's
times.
gonna make it, guys.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. But Nate, in your laughable free time, start a PlayStation podcast.
Yeah.
Or
Or just start the Nathan Peretta podcast.
yeah, just a Peretta
Just Peretta podcast.
Peretta podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
I
subscribe.
think
Day
we'll
one,
close
Patreon.
on
ours.
Patreon. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely
Yeah,
Patreon.
we're going to close this one down and go work for
Yeah.
Nate.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I totally get what you mean. You gotta find someone who's passionate about it.
Go deep, not broad. With that.
Is that another?
I don't
one of that
know.
whiskey
I think it
shirt?
is.
Go deep, not broad.
Yeah, I think so.
T3s.
T3s and scratch offs.
And scratch.
Wow, that's so weird.
I'm
That's
telling you,
gotta
those
text
boots,
something.
dude.
That's so
Did you
weird.
really?
Yeah, has nothing to do with the podcast.
FaceTime him right now. FaceTime.
Dude,
FaceTime.
Jay,
never.
seriously,
No way.
those boots.
Oh my God.
Did you say boobs?
I-
What?
No, not boobs. Boots.
Boots.
They were leopard fur
yeah.
knee highs
Yeah.
with belts going up down
Yeah.
to a stiletto.
And there was an
heel.
otter in there somewhere. I mean,
And
it's
you're
fucking-
like, damn. Because I even looked at Jason. I'm like,
yeah,
and then you kind of looked up at the rest of the package and you
Yeah.
went,
yeah. She was a working girl.
Oh, staying at 6'3".
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah, she had summer teeth
Summer hair.
Mm-hmm.
and a butterface.
Right.
I don't know. I don't even think of that.
Speaking of game animals,
I love it.
Oh.
Great job.
Speaking
Nice.
of game animals, something's going on here in Pennsylvania.
It is.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of background. We have had a few cases. The Game Commission is starting to sound the alarm bell. We've had a few cases of CWD, which is chronic wasting disease in deer. What is chronic wasting disease, you might ask?
Let's hear about it.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. So according
Yes, here. It's in my glass. Go for it.
Okay, so chronic wasting disease is a contagious, and now here's something that the Game Commission states, always fatal disease that infects deer and elk in Pennsylvania. It is a transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. Other diseases in the TSE family include bovine spongiform encephalopathy. Yeah,
Well, how easy for you to
or
say.
mad cow disease in cattle, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans, which is basically mad cow in people, and scrappy in sheep.
Scrappy dude?
Scrappy in sheep and
I
goats,
thought you were going to say Scrappy in Sheep's parking lot.
or scrapple at the meadows. It was first recognized in deer and elk in Colorado in 1967 because of CWD. Is believed to be an abnormal prion. Prions are concentrated in the brain, nervous system, and lymphoid tissues of infected animals. This disease causes death of brain cells, resulting in microscopic holes in the brain tissue. So,
Which could also be attributed to whiskey.
right. So some of the deer in Pennsylvania have come down with CWD. It affects the brain. It creates holes in the brain tissue. It's effectively mad cow.
Yeah.
What we would
They
if
call
we-
mad cow.
Generic. Yeah.
It's
Just
generic.
but for deer.
Yeah, but for deer.
Is
So-
it exclusive to deer?
that particular strain, deer, elk, mule deer,
Okay.
that that particular type. So at any rate, we've had a few cases in Pennsylvania, and so the Game Commission has sought to deal with it. And recently, it has come up that they're going to cull a section of the local herd to the tune of 2,000 to 2,500 individuals.
That's a lot.
Now from what I've read, and these are, I'm subject to the media.
Now, I think it's in 3 counties also.
It's in 3 counties, of which I read that the overall population in the areas that they were looking to call was 4,000 deer, and they were looking to call 2,000 to 2,500 of those 4,000 deer.
Right.
Keep in mind that this time of year is when they're fawning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by culling 2,500 deer, not only are you culling 2,500 deer, you're
Next
culling
generation.
the next generation as well.
Yeah.
So, this is something that
If you mentioned it already, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
I've got.
How do they get this?
Like,
what causes this?
okay, so it's a prion is the agent. It's not a bacteria. It's not a virus. It's a prion. A proteinaceous infectious particle. It's a really screwed up kind of thing. I almost said fuck there.
It's fine.
It's a really screwed up kind of thing. Prions are incredibly resilient. Basically, you're not going to take care of it with any kind of medication or any kind of vaccine, or even things like they've exposed prions in other cases to like straight bleach. And if the bleach has been oxidized for over like 30 seconds, it's not strong enough to kill the prion. Some prions have.
Okay, I'm still having the blank look. Where do you get the prion? Is
it's
it
a particular
airborne? Is it
okay?
a
No,
plant?
it's in the. What's the word I'm looking for? It's sort of in the bodily fluids of the deer. Generally speaking, it's in mostly the nervous tissue, but also can be deposited in the spleen. So it's a particle in the deer.
It just occurs naturally.
Actually, I don't think we're 100% sure how it occurs.
Okay.
It's never.
Yeah. I mean, these things in other animals, I've seen this in the prion that's responsible for mad cow disease, has literally withstood temperatures of up to like 11,000 degrees or some shit, and still been able to transmit the disease afterwards. The problem is you can't kill it because it's not technically alive. It's not, like bacteria. They're alive. You can kill them.
Right.
Viruses are somewhere hovering in between that, but you can still eradicate them.
Mm-hmm.
Prions are really sort of like an infectious, non-living material. So you can't really kill it because it's not really alive.
Gotcha.
So anyways, these particles end up in the nervous system and also the spleen of the deer. It's not 100% sure how it was transmitted to Pennsylvania. Some people think that there was a game animal brought in from another state on one of these like pay to hunt places.
Mm-hmm.
And that animal started the infection going. Like the predator. Right. What we need is Jesse Ventura. Yeah.
Carl Weathers.
Or Carl Weathers.
I was just gonna
Or Billy.
spit out one of my favorite lines, but I figured we'd
Billy.
probably get banned
Or Billy. No,
because
do
you
it.
can't say that anymore.
Just do it.
Nothing but a bunch of slackjaw faggots around here.
We just got
This
banned.
stuff will make you goddamn sexual
We're
tyrannosaurus.
just not that there's anything
Just
wrong
like
with
me.
that.
Not that there's anything wrong with
Not that there's
Tyrannosaurus.
You better start power walking.
Tyrannosaurus.
You better just start
Yeah,
power
I'm
walking.
power walking. So, anyways, here's the thing: we've got this problem in Pennsylvania, and actually, to be honest with you, where I live, and where you live,
Mhm.
the state game lands that is closest to our homes is actually one of the areas in which CWD deer have been found.
Oh, great.
Now,
Yeah, Blair County, Cambria County, and is it Lycoming County?
Lycoming, I think.
Yeah.
Is that closer to Pittsburgh? Where's Lycoming?
No, I think it's north
Yeah, it's north.
of 80.
So one of the things that
It's far away.
it doesn't matter. We have ones closer to home.
Yeah, we
to
got
worry
ones
about.
that.
Right, but I was.
Here's the thing about it. So as far as human consumption goes, obviously they recommend you don't eat CWD deer. They also basically say that
It's not.
It's not
they haven't
proven that
noticed-
you
yeah,
can.
get it.
and
Right,
not- right. Not-
It's not proven that you can get
transferable.
it. They definitely recommend you don't eat
If
any
you
kind of
know, then don't.
any kind of nervous cell tissue, or obviously
No brains.
Don't eat the brains.
Hey, dear, you got the CWD? No, I'm good.
So one of the things that the Game Commission has proposed in dealing with this is this mass culling. Now, a lot of hunters in Pennsylvania are up in arms
Absolutely.
Yes.
about this.
It's understandable.
It is. And so here's the thing. How are we going to deal with this? Part of the problem as far as a mass culling is you do not know beforehand that you're culling healthy individuals
Right.
or infected
It's
individuals.
Just a random number.
It's just a random
you
number.
might get them all. You might not get half of them.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
it's-
Yeah.
And obviously there are effects on the population after something like that happens. Right up until the time where we recorded this, they were going to go forward with this. Was it yesterday?
Yes.
Yesterday.
It was just yesterday they announced that they're actually going to postpone this.
They
They've
did have
hired
it-
four out-of-state sharpshooters, air quotes for those of you
listening to the
at home.
podcast. Yes.
Yeah, from out of state to come in and do the culling, which I think is crazy. I actually saw some information where they know where these people are being holed up at, and the Game Commission is paying $4,000 a month rent for these individuals to be housed. And now that it's postponed, I guess we're actually paying for longer now. So here's the thing. Everybody's up in arms. How do you deal with this? Is it something that we can deal with? Is it something that the mass culling is going to make better? Is it something it's not going to affect? This is just something on the table. There's actually I'm going to use the word protest, but I'm going to use it lightly. Scheduled at 2:30 in Hollidaysburg on Thursday afternoon for the,
Tomorrow?
tomorrow at the time that I don't know when they'll be listening to this. To voice your concerns about this issue. I've done a little bit of research in other states where this has been carried out. There is shown to be a positive correlation in Illinois, where mass culling has kept it down, although it is still associated with massive deer population drop-offs. Mass culling. So, still something I myself am personally, I don't want to make judgments too early. I can say that as far as the research that I have done shows that I don't particularly think that this is an effective with it. Sure, we have one case in Illinois where it seems to have been somewhat successful, but at what cost?
Exactly.
And the other thing is that in reading some wildlife biologists' material and some other sports writers on the Viewpoint, here's my thing. I think as far as CWD goes, what the Game Commission is doing is saving face. I think what they just want to say is we're doing something, and they want to be able to say to the population, like, look, we're accountable for something. We're trying something. And I get that, but
It's
what I
fine and good.
I think they're screwed either way. If you want to ask my opinion, I think that what they're choosing to do is not necessarily going to have any effect either way. Other than just, like you said, if you eliminate the deer, then you're not going to have CWD.
Yeah, that doesn't help
Right.
the situation. You don't want to eliminate the entire herd.
Right.
There has to
At
be a
what
way
cost?
to test ahead of time.
Well, see, here's what I think. I think that the Game Commission, as far as accountability goes, is screwed no matter what, because I think it's kind of beyond them. And I think all they're doing is trying to say, like, look, we're doing something. But I think if they do something, we're going to see CWD. I think if they don't do anything, we're going to see CWD.
Right.
So in my mind, the idea is if it's going to kind of be that way either way, I'd rather not see them interfere in a way that we haven't proven that from
It
a
works
data
or
point
doesn't
that it's
work. right.
that it's gonna work or
I
doesn't
am with
work.
you.
And the
Well,
other,
I think you're being, not to interrupt, but I think you're being a rational,
well,
someone who has something like a stake in this.
yeah,
Whereas they're kind of, the government's kind of being like, who do we point
Well,
this at?
well, as far as what the government's looking at, would be the landowner, because a lot of times it's the landowners in Pennsylvania that have all the crops that say, "Hey, we got way too many deer over here. They destroy our crops."
right.
They'll send in special bonus
And insurance
tags.
companies,
Right? Well, yes, for cars, and they'll send in special tags that say, "We got to lower this in this area.
right?
We're seeing way too much damage this way or that way." So yeah, it's actually, I think the insurance companies or landowners are the
I
biggest
think
two.
there is an element of that behind this for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I think that is unavoidable. The problem is that this gets presented as this is actually the front. This is the face of what we're dealing with. I don't know if that's actually what's going on behind the scenes either.
True. I mean,
If we're just
government
going to
agency.
we're just going to deal with it on the face of what it is, a number of other, like I was saying, some of the things that I've read from wildlife biologists and sports writers and stuff, one of the things that they pointed out that I'm very strongly has kind of influenced my thoughts on this matter is the idea that we don't know what Mother Nature is going to do to deal with this either. So by culling the herd, by getting involved, by not allowing Mother Nature to actually find its own solution, all we're really doing is sort of stunting, the
stunting
development,
the group, right?
the development. And so my idea is, I do have to say, I'm kind of in the idea of if we don't have the data to support that, this is definitely going to be something that's a positive, step in the right direction. Why should we do it? And also, yes, we don't know how. Maybe we should let the deer population actually sort of deal with this and try to develop its own sort of, because that's the history of disease.
I mean, Mother Nature can go and correct.
Yeah.
Just about anything.
Really, the history of disease is a number of individuals are affected and they die off. They're screwed. But eventually, those that carry whatever gene or whatever it is to have some form of resistance to the disease carry on.
But as you said, is it a disease? I mean, I guess it is.
Well,
a disease, true,
resistance to whatever is.
But it's not live. Most
the pathogen is.
Most of the time, as you said earlier, it's a virus or
prions are freaky.
Yeah, whereas this is
prions
alive.
are
So
incredibly
how
freaky.
does something alive?
Well, you can still have a resistance to something that isn't
It's like
necessary.
saying I have a resistance to coal dust. I mean, it's just an inanimate thing.
Okay, but if we take 1,000 people and put them in the mines, a certain number of them are going to survive better than others, and those people make better miners.
The ones that are healthier would survive better than ones that had lung problems.
Right? They would.
Yes, and yeah, that is a great point as far as that goes. I mean, the only other thing actively, I think, I'd like to see the agency do is see if there's some way to try to. If they can identify these deer in the wild.
See, now that's the other thing, and
Find a small group. See if you can identify.
There are external symptoms of CWD,
but they have to manifest to a point.
They have to manifest to a certain point, and here's
Is
the
there
other
a quick
problem.
blood test,
Well, here's
can we go over
right. Well, here's
a
the
needle
other.
and a strip and say, oh yeah, that one has it.
Here's the other problem. Come February in Pennsylvania, after dealing with some serious temperature problems, some serious temperature drops, a lot of the deer herd externally don't look so good.
True.
So the idea that you could see this deer that doesn't look incredibly healthy doesn't necessarily mean
not at the certain times of the year.
Right. And the idea of doing the culling right now, that it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be getting infected individuals.
Yeah.
And today I saw, I think it was today or was it last night that I posted it to you, but I saw that the who I don't know who would vote on it. Is it the local Congress? They have passed a bill to allow hunting.
The Wildlife
yeah,
and Fisheries
on-
Commission.
Yeah, they have passed a bill to allow hunting on a Sunday.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
that would
awesome.
actually mean that I could actually go hunting again.
I know. That's
But
something.
the
that-
reason I bring it up is
numbers.
numbers.
Yeah.
Is that enough by allowing one extra day for
That,
people who can't get out normally, all of a sudden who now have a day to go out?
well, see that is another factor.
How is that going to drop? No, are they even going to have to do this?
That's another factor that a lot of local residents of Pennsylvania have voiced. Why indeed do you need to bring in somebody from out of state?
When you have
Put
this,
up the-
Years, yeah.
Put up the rent of whatever they're paying them, which I heard is reported at $4,000 a month rent to house these people.
Jeez.
Why are we doing this when you could make it easier for residents to go out?
who would pay the state back as far as buying a tag?
Right.
Because I'm sure they sell it as a stamp
Yeah.
or something like that. To get
I
the
mean,
extra,
so here's the
you know,
thing.
on a
I mean, they
Sunday.
did offer extra tags in CWD areas, and they didn't fill enough tags. But my point in then is, why make it difficult at all to get the tag? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, literally, you should be handing these out.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing is, and I want to quote a scientist here who.
Dude, what?
yeah.
Science?
Science?
Yeah, so
Science!
There's a scientist who spoke on the matter, not necessarily relating to the deer population, but another species of animals. Dr. Ian Malcolm said that life finds a way. So that's the thing. It doesn't matter how much you want to control this issue.
Are you making a Michael Crichton reference?
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents. If I want to speak science about it,
Right.
I will.
Right. So, I mean, those are just some concerns that I wanted to bring up and voice because it's relevant to us here right now. And, you know,
Yes.
maybe if you're listening out of state or whatever, it doesn't mean as much to you. But
And if you're listening and you're not aware, again, Jason, where can they go to the quote unquote protest that's happening?
it will be in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania at the courthouse Thursday the 7th. Is tomorrow the 7th?
So if
Yes,
you're listening
February.
right now,
Thursday, February 7th.
If you're listening after February,
It'll
then
be
it's-
Thursday, February 7th at 2:30 p.m. at the courthouse in Hollidaysburg.
so if you get to this
Pennsylvania.
early enough, in your
Right.
opinion,
That's why I'm trying to do the show notes like on my phone right now as we go.
There is
so
a page.
As soon as it's loaded, I can go, oh,
There is a page that maybe we can link to for people concerned on Facebook.
yeah, we'll do that too.
Yeah. I'll
Okay,
send
sure.
you a link.
all right, yeah, send me the link. I'll do that.
Yeah.
We won't necessarily take a stance on it, but we will say that
Well,
if
I
you're
mean,
interested in the issue
right.
that we discussed in the
It's-
podcast, just check it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as the stance is to try to do the best. I mean, as you mentioned, it's just like what were they thinking in trying to hire somebody out of state or any place else to come in and do this when Pennsylvania has more than enough hunters?
Well, I'm incredibly.
That's ridiculous, and they don't know that this can possibly work because it's just random. Which deer has it, which deer doesn't, which one are you going to shoot?
Listen, I'm biased. I will tell you right now that anytime the word government comes up, I'm immediately going to be
Yeah.
biased. Okay. So I'm going to put that on the table and tell you that I've my whole life been a little less than happy with, say, the state government or the game commission. But I really do think that what's happening right now is there's two kinds of people when faced with a dilemma. Somebody who's willing to sit back and say, we're going to let it play out. And somebody else who feels like, well, we have to do something. You know, you hear that from people. Well, we have to do something, even if we don't fucking know that it's the right thing to do.
Right.
And I think that what's winning out right now is the, well, we have to do something kind of thing. And I don't necessarily think that that's the right way to go in this particular case.
Mhm.
You know, I think in hindsight, we're going to see that maybe it wasn't the right way to go. I hope not, but, you know, we'll see.
Right.
But I think they just sort of want the plausible deniability factor of being able to say, well, we tried to do something.
Right.
I think they're screwed either way. I think we're going to see CWD no matter what they do.
Right. I mean, we already know it's here,
Right.
but how can we help it?
Right.
How can we help the deer population?
Right. So I think we've talked long enough about that, but I just wanted to bring that up as something that
Yeah.
of local concern.
Bourbon is local concern.
What do you got there?
Oh, it's 21 reasons why bourbon is more than just a hobby. But I think
Save that for next week.
you'll save that for
Yeah,
next
that'll
week.
be awesome.
Edit. We're not going to do that now.
Hey, that's what makes us fun. It's live.
So let's. I think that effectively puts a cap on this week's discussion.
It doesn't put a cap on the Robbie Burns.
No, it's not. That's for
Robert
sure.
Burns is done.
Robbie!
I have to get a piece of saran wrap off Mikey.
I've got a
You could just put a condom
Preston
over there.
seal. I've got Preston seal on there.
Okay, sure.
How about? Do you have a bung?
A bung.
If you have any wine,
I
you
think
have
we've busted Robbie's bung is what's
you
happening.
can stick a wine bung in there.
Yeah.
I'll see
Robbie
what I
will be
have. I'll
happy.
root my kitchen.
Okay, he'll root.
He's
Wait.
going to root in his kitchen
I'll
for a
root.
bung.
I'll root in the fits.
Mm.
Oh, see what he did there.
Hey, I just want you to know this guy didn't have a corkscrew earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Spoiler
And he's an
alert.
Italian.
Right.
Got a corkscrew.
All of my corkscrews were stolen by the whore of an ex-wife that I had.
Spoiler! We're going to put that in the show
No
notes.
land based in here. Let's close the show out with the segment that we have instituted since day one, except for that one time when I forgot. That is the.
I love the fact that we have to include
Did I
that
have
every
to say
time.
I mean, I think you can leave that out every other
No,
time.
No, it has
That's
to be
it
there.
every time.
The classic segment of what are you listening to this week? It's 49 episodes old.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is it 72,000 miles?
Or I'll walk 500 miles.
How many? Like, what's the cap on playlist length? We might hit that soon.
I don't know. Then we'll just have to start playing
Number
list
two.
Number two.
Volume 2.
Yes.
Volume 2, yeah.
Print it. Jason,
Mm.
what are you listening to this week?
What I've been listening to this week is a band that I've never brought to the playlist before, and it's kind of a shame because I just love the living shit out of these
But
guys.
they did just play the Super Bowl, so you might as well.
Yeah, yeah.
right. Yeah,
Now Jay doesn't have anything to say.
I know. Now I've been listening to a band called Secrets of the Moon.
Ooh.
They're a band from Northwest Germany. They're a metal band.
Oh.
And the song, they're totally badass. Every album is different. That's one of the things I really like about this band. You can listen to one album and be like, I don't like that. But listen to another album and you know, like, don't give up. You're going to find something that you think is badass. And if you were going to ask for a recommendation, I would tell you that.
I am.
Yeah, you should listen to Seven Bells
Album.
from the album.
Oh, what's the album?
Self-titled, yeah.
Seven Bells.
Yeah, and you should listen to the song Seven Bells, and yeah, totally badass. I hope it's on Spotify. I'm not 100% sure that it will be. If not, let me know. I'll give you an
I
option.
can start looking, Jay. You go with yours.
You want me to go with mine?
Yeah.
In my endless pursuit of trying to find new material to play, I always have my main fallback. One, because those who follow me are also huge fans. Are they on there?
Mhm.
Sweet. Huge fans of the man and his many projects, as well as I want to have his babies.
Talking about Brian Fallon.
Yeah.
It has to be.
It's totally B-Fell.
Yeah.
I've been trying to buff up on this particular song over the last few days, so this literally has been what am I listening to, because I'm in the process of learning the motions of the song, basically. My pick this week is from the album Sleepwalkers, and the song is Etta James.
I love that.
I do love Etta James. Yeah, so.
Now, did everybody know that we had a birthday this week? Eddie Van Halen.
There you go.
Yeah, he's like 64 years young. That old. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? But
Al said that in the message. I'm like, wait, he's still alive?
He's still alive.
I had a birthday this week.
You-
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
right.
Yeah.
It's the only birthday.
Happy birthday! Yeah,
Birthday
we got over.
matters.
Can we sing happy birthday to him?
It's over.
Ah,
we don't
fuck
have to
it.
do
Nah,
it.
man.
No.
So
I saw my shadow.
is that why it's raining?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Summertime in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
right.
Don't like it?
Right.
It's back.
Yeah.
40 degrees and rain.
Next week I'll tell you how it's California's fault. Meteorologist approved. Anyways, go ahead.
I'm done.
So yeah,
Wow.
he's done. I'm
Yeah.
over.
Eddie.
Yeah. So yeah, happy birthday, Eddie, and we don't give a shit. But anyway, I was listening on the way down, as I usually do. Yeah, I always like to throw something out there that has nothing to do with the song I'm up there, in case you haven't figured it out for 4 weeks in a row.
Right.
Can we just start giving the Jim look at the camera?
Right. We find out he's been listening to Buster.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mambo number
Happy
5.
birthday, Eddie Van Halen. I've been listening
To the Freshman, the Verb Pipe, and yeah, that's their single, and it also is on one of their album releases. But it was just on the way down. I really don't listen to the radio during work, so most of my songs are
It's 'cause
actually
you're always
from
listening to
Sirius Radio
podcasts.
on the way down, and when I listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do podcasts out, by the way.
And before Mikey gives his, I want to give I mean, I'm out of whiskey, so I'll have to. I'll just
Oh,
because this is open.
Oh.
I'll just put a little bit in my
Put
glass.
some
here.
behind your ears.
Did you just open a bottle of perfume?
I did. Let's raise our glasses real fast to one Al Scarton who did his first tasting Tuesday.
Oh,
Fucking
jeez.
right.
This
yeah.
week.
I'm going to taste him with the tasting Tuesday.
Toast to Al in my glass, please. Of the, for no reason whatsoever, the Tin Cup 10. Thank you. That's good.
That's the Tin Cup
The
10.
Tin Cup 10
What
taste.
an alliteration. Tin Cup 10
10
titties.
I'm
If
good.
only it took 2 takes to take the Tin
Two
Cup
takes
10.
to taste the Tin Cup
I've
10.
been drinking whiskey all night and still being able to say
I
that.
know your
That-
alliteration
you haven't
is
had
on
enough.
point.
Sammy
Because
the
you're not
Snake stood
coach-showed
silently
again.
across
Yeah.
the seashore.
Cheers, Al.
There's
Good
my
job,
first one.
I find it interesting the split in the committee.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was
Yes.
the first time we've seen that in a
Yeah.
tasting video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mikey, what do you listen to?
Before I continue,
I love the hat stance right now.
thank you. Kevin Siegel says he's been listening to Satriani's Super Colossal record. So that's cool.
Kevin, give us a song. We'll put it on the playlist.
Yeah, why not? Let's throw her on the playlist. Personally,
Do that.
I've been listening to, and you guys heard it earlier today, but
Oh,
Year 200X
Yeah.
is
Oh,
a
yes.
it's basically what they'll do is they'll take old Nintendo era games theme songs and just metalize them.
Weird Mega Man.
Yeah, and that's
Eight-bit.
what my pick for the week is going to be. Mega Man 3, which is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time.
Mega Man.
Theme songs.
Mega Man.
Mega Man.
So Year 200X Mega Man. We Are Error is the album, and Mega Man 3. They do The Moon from DuckTales, which is another amazing
Oh,
song,
yeah.
Whoa.
Fucking
which
right.
was really close
Wow.
to being up there for my pick.
Yeah, that would be good.
But I will err on the side of my favorite theme song to video games, one of them, and go with Mega Man 3. Kevin Siegel says Red Shift Riders, great tune. So that's going on the playlist. Thanks, Kev.
Thanks, Kevin.
Last chance, whoever's
Sweet.
tuning in on the
Is there-
YouTube
yeah.
chat.
You
Right.
want it? You want it? Get it on
Come
here.
on, Texas L.
If you've got
Pick
what
up.
are you listening to this week?
I even posted it on Reddit to try to bait him in, and it couldn't do it.
I know.
I think he either is grown tired of our shit or
You got thrown
He
back
grew
across
up
the
and
border.
moved on.
You think he grew a foreskin?
fuck a dog.
Trump might have thrown him back over the border. Who knows?
Mm.
Did you see who was the woman behind him in the dress last night?
Oh,
Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi.
Pelosi.
Yeah.
Yes, now known as the "fuck you" clap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can say "fuck you" to Nancy Pelosi too.
Absolutely.
I mean, that
I'm
would have
just
been a
All
great,
of Congress and
that would have
fuck
been
'em
a real.
all.
Yes.
That would have been a really good place. For
This is
fireball.
kind of okay. We're gonna deviate here.
Oh,
from
no, not great. Now the FBI are going to be searching my house.
I was talking to Dylan last night, who is a coworker of ours.
Dylon.
Dylon.
We love Dylan.
Dylon.
Some of you love him.
You'll
you
love
only
him.
love him. Don't love him because you don't know.
I've had not good interactions with that man.
Really?
We'll find
He
out.
takes time.
Okay.
He's like a good stew. You just gotta let him simmer.
Yeah. If you simmer Dylan, it's great.
He and I had this little kind of mini discussion last night about because he loves he was like I gotta go watch the State of the Union.
I know.
He's like into this because he likes to be informed.
Okay.
He likes to be brainwashed. You mean?
Well, whatever.
Lied to. He likes to be lied to.
Yeah, he likes to be. lied
He
to.
likes to listen to it just to see what.
But here's
he's
the thing:
gonna-
Dylan
what-
is not any kind of Trump fan.
No,
And,
he
yeah.
absolutely is not.
Yeah, he just likes to know where the opposition is.
And I've often said, like, a lot of people, my first initial reaction to his, election was, oh God, no. But then, like, literally seconds later, it was like,
The
yes.
memes are coming.
Not so much the memes, but my letdown from him as a president is because the fact that he hasn't completely run it into the ground yet,
Right.
and we're running around with no electricity or government just yet.
My firmly held belief is that his campaign was seriously initially just meant as a publicity stunt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he actually thought he could actually win.
And
I think the day after the election, he was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, I actually won.
See, we're too late into the podcast to be talking politics.
Yeah.
Being honest.
And I don't want to talk politics. I'm just saying.
Let's talk Dylan.
Let's talk Dylan. I fucking love that kid.
I love that kid.
Talk about
Still no.
Still
no from me, dog.
Yeah.
he's my meme guy. He's like
He's good with
See,
memes.
that explains
He-
it, then.
he's
I'm
my-
still not gonna like him.
No, he like just like an unvaccinated child, his dark memes are never
Yeah,
gonna get old.
Yeah. I'm sorry
It's
his
just-
legs don't work. But
It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. I love the kid to death. He actually, this is actually show related. He told me last week he officially slapped the bag on the Black Box whiskey. I donated that box to Dylan's cause.
Yes.
I said, "You're a poor college kid. Here, have
There
this
you go.
box of whiskey."
Box of whiskey.
And he and his roommates they made short work of it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, it's gone, finally."
Yeah.
He's a total mixer bag. But guys, thanks for tuning in this week. We had a lot of fun this episode, and we really can't thank you enough for being here.
How many days, Jay?
For the Whisketeers that have been here from day one to oh crap, I'm on the wrong note tag.
air.
To dead air to day 392. Thank you from the bottom
Think
of our
about
heart.
that. Think about that for real.
It's a lot of time.
It is.
I mean, you look at the page, and it's only 49 episodes, but this has been 392 days.
Right.
Podcasts have not even got off the ground in that kind of time. And from our good friend over at the Punisher Body Count, Dane Lamont has said several times that he is actually thoroughly surprised at our growth and rate of
Every time we have an episode,
So-
I'm thoroughly surprised.
that
They showed up
we're
again.
just growing as much as we are and as quickly as we are.
I'm growing right now.
And with
You're
that,
not a shower.
he likes to go deep, not broad. You had some T3s over there. Got a couple
I got some
scratch
scratch-offs in my pocket.
Oh
Last
god!
chance to grab my thick Yeti.
That's right.
Done.
Yeah.
I am Jay,
I am Al.
I am Jason.
And I am Michael.
and we are the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee. Please listen responsibly.
49 in the bag.
Oh, that was a long one.
It was.
Yikes!
That's all right.
That's what they say.
Whoa.
Hey, man, Tin Cup 10 was a great episode.
I even tried it with water.
Oh, the
Care
water
for it.
made it worse.
Yeah, it did.
It was so bad.
What
Oh,
is
that's 49?
That's incredible.
You guys are so fucked up.
Thick
Yeah.
Yeti for the win.
Yeah, I don't get it.
You guys are so fucked up. Tin Cup 10 is awesome.
No.
Two best whiskeys I had tonight were the Tin Cup 10 during the tasting video and at the end when we were toasting.
Yeah, the two best whiskeys I had tonight were Tin Cup 10
And a
Tin
tin
Cup
cup 10. No,
T3s. If you want
it's
to
not
go
for
ahead
me.
and just put that when you upload that,
I
that's
thought
the
you
title.
changed it to the other one. What was the other one on there?
I don't even remember what it was.
Oh, the original title? It was scratch offs.
will swag.
Oh, you're not going to do scratch offs and T3s?
No, it's going to be T3s and scratch off.
T3s
Oh, okay.
and scratch offs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'll leave them guessing.
I mean, I really
Hey.
like this.
I like that too.
I'm still here. Hi, there's my hands. Thanks for tuning in this week. We love you guys. Kevin, thanks for posting the song title. We're
Yeah, that was
glad
awesome.
to get that on the playlist for sure. And
Everyone else, you're too late.
dummies.
Oh,
Right.
2 other people.
There's 4.
Well, I'm 1 and Kevin's the other, so
We're
2
still
other
taking
people.
T3s and scratch
Yeah,
offs,
we're still
right?
taking some T3s. We need thick. Kevin says we need thick Yeti shirts on.
I don't think we have the rights to Yeti, unfortunately.
Well,
Let's put 2 T's in it, then they can't come after us.
Right.
Yeah.
Shannon,
I think
give
we
us a
just-
song.
I think
We'll
we-
add it.
I think we just need a silhouette of a Yeti up on like a mountaintop, and right where a schlong should be, we should have the fucking silhouette.
Thick.
actually, well, wait, where's the picture? They already did that.
Wait, you've already done that?
Well, Jay has done it. I don't know if he realized what I told him to do,
What?
What about
Dude.
hanging dong? You talking about hanging dong?
Feel like a make?
Oh, when I was bending the microphone with my
I told him
dick.
go like this.
Oh, there you go. There it is. Thick Yeti right there.
Thick Yeti.
Nice.
I was sick. Yeah. Oh yeah. My thick Yeti boy.
Yeah.
How did we how did we gain a follower? The show's
Thank you.
over. Why? Oh, we lost him.
Sorry, Texas Al. You're going to have to come back next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. We're going to shut this puppy down now. We'll see you next week. Cheers.